Hey!
Sweet. All right. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, is this the podcast where we talk about Bible Black, or
This, I think,
No, that joke dies.
it
I
dies
look
right now?
so fucking tired. I'm like, I hadn't looked myself in the camera just like since I first checked to make sure it was working. Good God.
You know, man,
That's a
that
lazy
happens.
eye? Is that what? Like,
Mm-hmm.
is that just a camera angle? I'm sorry, Nick. No Bible Black though.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the apology. I think it means so much to me. You consider my feelings on the matter.
Oh, that's good.
What will people associate with this podcast? I think you know what they're gonna do. They're gonna associate.
Go.
They're gonna associate. No, no. You can't make me now. I won't tell it.
I won't.
Just by saying, oh, go ahead, Ian. I've taken away any free will or influence of
no.
the choice. It's like that kid. Okay, you guys have seen the fucking, oh my God, the Robin Williams teacher. Captain, my captain.
Dead Poets Society.
Dead Poets Society. I watched that in an English class my senior year because my teacher really liked it. That was the first time I seen it. It's a good movie. Good movie. I didn't know Red from That 70s Show was in it. It was like a very important character.
Basically.
Yeah,
he's in RoboCop.
Yeah, he is.
An antagonist, if you will. I know that one. But like anyway, there's a moment where it's the whole seize the day speech, and all the kids are like, yeah, they run out of the classroom except the one kid, and the kid's like, I want to learn. That's why I came to college, which back then college was just like high school plus if you're rich.
Yeah. Yes.
And someone argued today, but I'm not going to go into that argument. But anyway, and the kid's like, I want to learn. And then my teacher was like, see, that kid gets it. And to her credit, there's a good point to that. That's what he wants to do. But also, if we're going to take my beliefs now, my cynical, just there's no such thing as free will type thing. The very fact that he says that means there's a binary. And there is no free choice or seizing the day. He influenced, and no matter what direction, he influenced it, and he caught one. Anyway, that movie's a fucking sham. Is what?
You're right, man.
You're absolutely right. I mean,
happy thoughts from Chris. Good night, everybody.
Another Robin Williams film. Another Robin Williams film, Patch Adams.
Yeah.
Where he's roommates with Dustin Hoffman, I think.
Yes.
And Dustin Hoffman has like this big confrontation with him, wherein he basically says, I don't like that you're funny. This is very serious. And people don't want a funny doctor. They want a doctor who will save them.
Yeah.
And even though he is painted as the asshole of the film,
yeah,
he's not wrong. Dustin Hoffman's not
if I had
wrong.
to choose one or the other.
Yeah.
You can be funny. And in fact, that's fun. It's cool.
Yeah.
You better also be able to cut out that tumor that you got going on. Or that cyst.
Yeah. You need to know the difference between gabapentin and naloxone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good man, that's like, that brings me back to that speech I gave in high school. Where it's like, I mean, it's a scenario posted by Jason Pargan, aka David Wong at the time. Where it's just a guy's like bleeding out on the street. You don't know why, but he's bleeding out. You're not gonna go. People don't want you to go there and be like, let me help. And they go, oh, okay, cool. What are you going to do? I don't know, but I'm going to help. I'm going to do that. It's like, no, we is there a doctor here? Like, unless there's a doctor in the first place, then you can help because you're following the guidance of the medic or doctor at the time.
I was a lifeguard. I can help him.
Well, okay, so it depends how bad the wound is, right? Like,
yes,
for a lifeguard, because as a lifeguard, you have to learn, like, beyond first aid, I think.
Yeah, some first aid.
No, you have to learn, I think, more, at least in California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, you have to learn some shit. But like you have to learn enough to keep the person alive until like a medic can come by, right?
That makes sense.
To wheel you away. So it's got to be a little bit more. I think. Fuck it. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, you need fucking someone, right? Like in that time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into what that speech was about. That's a pass. I'm not even sure if I fully agree with what I said at the time. But
what? Your opinion has changed?
My opinion has changed from that fucking 18-year-old to the man I am.
Damn.
What's going on, fellas? This is the third to last podcast, as we announced in the last one.
Yeah.
And you think we would have done something a little bit more special?
Yeah.
Work.
Yeah.
Very busy. Actually, I find it. We were very lucky to get together today.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, y'all don't want to hear that, but suffice to say, we've all been going through some wacky things with that. I believe.
Yeah.
And
the last. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and it was. I mean, not only making it to this, but making time to talk about the movie we're going to talk about later, to watch it was like,
Oh, I got real lucky watching that. I only watched it because my mom and my sister wanted to watch it. I was like, you know what, I'm not doing anything this afternoon.
Okay. Sick.
Because I mean, broken record over here, but yeah, I'm not into going to movie theaters anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm dead and died and
look at the video.
Costs money.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll get to that towards the end.
Yeah.
The announcement, but we are going to talk Barbie.
Yeah.
That the spoiler cast will be at the end of it. So we're just going to go through our date, or like what we've been up to real quick. I'm very tired. I just got off like a long shift and I work outdoors. It's like on site. So I'm just gonna let you two go first, and then whatever I can piggyback off.
All right.
It's gonna feed off your energy in hopes that it can carry me throughout.
Yay!
Yeah.
I mean,
parasite.
Like the beloved bog leech.
Exactly.
Nature's scamp.
Nature's precarious scamp.
Yeah.
But yeah. So who wants to go first? Ian, I know Nick, you had a list.
Yeah, go for it, man. Go for it, Nick.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I guess the list was like just me finally finishing / catching up on stuff I was reading for a bit. So I'll start. In the meantime, I'll start with some of the music I've been checking out between then and now.
Okay. It's not that list of like 20 albums you mentioned earlier.
No, out of the 20, I'm gonna pick one just to talk about to get through it.
Okay. Sorry.
Because it's a big deal.
Okay.
It's a very big deal. This album came out, and it was such a big question of whether or not this group would come together, and that would be "No Fear of Time" by Black Star. That came out.
Predictable. I would have gone with the Viper album, but yeah, man.
Chris,
what?
Yeah, truly historical. You're right. Oh, Mr. No Energy over here, but enough to fuck me, huh?
Yeah, that's the colorful commentary. Listen, it's not going to be a lot of this anymore. Like once we get to, because the new podcast is going to be super structured.
Yeah.
So you should
When he-
appreciate
This is your brother's last chance to harpoon you right in the middle of your fucking
Yeah,
Oh,
in the
I'm
middle
so
of you're
fucking
talking about. Oh, I actually like this piece of art. Isn't that fun? Isn't that great?
like as a quick aside for the listeners, just before we came on, we were having conversation as friends,
Yeah.
and Chris had this just my miniature facial response that destroyed me inside. As he's mastered the subtlety of
Was it the eye roll? I don't even think that was that subtle. I think I like exaggerated.
It was enough for Ian. How about
But
that?
it threw off Ian real bad. So like,
I wasn't. We were having like a normal conversation,
Yeah.
like people who were friends, and then he,
Who like each other.
you know,
what
like,
as humans do.
imagine like people who like each other. Imagine that. and
Imagine.
then
That kind of attitude in this country, Chris. No, I'm kidding.
Imagine dragons. Imagine if piss was shit.
And then imagine 1/3 of that dynamic was just a joke machine that was like, let me eat the sincerity and shit humor.
It's not at all exhausting and easy
To be
to
fair, I feel like it was kind of a giveaway. This is was gonna be like, given all the Kingdom Hearts streams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. True.
Man, we're gonna have to figure something out when Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out.
Oh man.
What are you talking about?
You have
What do
to
we get?
continue.
There's no 4.
There is
Is
a
there?
4.
Is there?
4 is gonna come out.
Nick, there's no release date, but there's trailers.
Okay, well we'll wait like a decade again.
That's the
Yeah.
one where you see Sora's grippers
Yeah.
and
Wait,
they're
what?
Sora's
normal
what?
human feet.
His big
grippers.
flippers. You got big feet.
No, he doesn't. That's what's weird.
So, it's
So
just
that
big
means
shoes?
he's just an asshole who wears big shoes.
He's got
I
Air
thought he had
Jordan.
big feet,
It's all air.
like
It's all
Sonic.
puff.
Yeah.
Air Force
One where
Ones.
he's in
Yeah.
Shibuya.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that's
all a lie. I don't believe it.
four. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
man.
Nick, Black Star's album.
Thank you,
I
Chris.
did
Yes,
listen
Black-
to it with you.
Yeah.
I haven't given it the thing I do where I'd like really listen to it. It's usually when I'm driving in the car, but like I don't know what it is about driving. Listening to music
Yeah.
helps me analyze, but yeah. What'd you think?
It was good. I give it a like 6 out of 10. No. Oh, I loved it. I think it was fantastic. Very much like if you know like their dynamic and the fact that they came back, literally over a decade like later with this project, is such a huge deal.
Yeah,
Having
it
like
really is.
also awesome like last 2 songs with great guest artists, Black Thought and Yummy Bingham. Yeah, just
Yeah, I
it's
forgot Black Thought.
interesting. Like you see, like between Mos Def when he was outed and became like Young Sinbei in his official as one of his official artist names.
Yeah.
And then coming back to it for Black Star,
Mhm.
you can very much see this sort of like this evolution also in lyrics, but also like in the sound of being more dreamlike, like a more flow of consciousness.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's definitely softer compared to their most famous album, but I do think it works to their benefit because it's very dense. The lyrics are very dense. It's just I love this so much. My favorite song so far was like Yonders and Supreme Alchemy. It's just so good.
Yeah, I can't wait to give it like the sit down. Because for people who don't actually, I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on the podcast, but like the Black Star album is like one of my favorite rap albums, if not my favorite one. The only thing is I just always have I can tell you what song goes in what spot on there, but as I listen, I can never remember the freaking names.
Mhm.
For whatever reason, but yeah, no, it's great. Good.
Yeah, it's also like awesome to see also top qualities like foundational sort of songwriting, but also you get these
Yeah.
awesome verses of just again, he's just some of the best, only with lyrics, but also with transitions in songs,
Yeah,
which
he really is.
so good. And yeah, everything's just very tightly written, and it's very much a feeling of like over a decade has passed, yet there's still Black Star, no matter like what's happened.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
that's cool.
yeah, just again, so much to think about. Wonderful stuff. Um, it's tough. It's tough to like say more than that because it is very much a case of this album coming out between, let's say, I mean, the last thing they put out as an album was the you already knew album with Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, Nick, let me ask you this: when you say like it's been a decade and Black Star is still here, like, so you feel like this album is still kind of carrying the same energy, vibe, same kind of pathos as their earlier work for the last? Do you feel like it feels very similar, or how do you feel like that sound has changed or not changed in these last 10 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say like it's more of a definitely an evolution from it, and it feels like the natural step after this sort of like when having this album that's known to be both a tribute but also its own identity and statements on the scene, especially the East Coast scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's very much because both of them had just so many experiences all over the world. Um, and seeing just hip hop and music in general evolve like multiple times. It did feel like listening to it like it's a softer, like wider sound, but it does seem like the lyrics are very focused and like everything's like very I don't know, I would say because genuine I guess would sound kind of pretentious, but it does seem like it is such like a very poignant and like very personal album compared to the first one. But yeah, no, I love it. It's so good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But yeah,
Cool. Right on.
out of all the albums, that was probably like the biggest one to talk about for me.
Yeah, that's like the big one of the year for me. Like in terms of like big deal that it came out. I guess Metallica 72 Seasons.
Yeah.
But I mean I haven't listened to it. Right. Maybe I will. I don't know. Hardwired to
Yeah.
Self-Destruct apparently was very good, and I didn't.
Oh yeah, totally. I haven't checked that out, but wanted to. Good. Yeah. I was about to say like I had one on the list. It was gonna be Avenged Sevenfold. They had that new album.
Oh, I forgot you told me you listened.
I did. Because they were all like Avenged Sevenfold were always that band to me. I just thought I didn't think much of them. Like I just thought they're just not for me. Like I can appreciate what they're going for at the time, and they are catchy. And like I'm like okay.
I had so many friends at like growing up in like middle school and high school who were so fucking into Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
That I was an asshole for being like, yeah, they're good. They're good. Not into them, but they're good.
I was literally in the same situation. Yeah, like they don't want to be into them, and then I go, oh, it's all right. Or like
they're obviously very talented. It's not for me.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
and how dare I?
You monster!
How dare you?
How dare I not like the thing they like on that level? Not just even like not like it. I mean, just on that level. Whatever.
Yeah.
Is it good? Should I listen to it as someone who just knows like maybe the most popular songs?
You know what? Like, I would say that they have. Apparently, this was a very divisive record because it was very more out there.
Yeah, they're old. They're older.
The theme, it's more like focused on a theme overall versus like their prior albums. It is. Yeah, I mean, overall, I thought it was pretty good. Like, I was like, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
and I appreciated like the consistency of each song pertaining to. Well, the singer talked about like the whole album, "Life Is But a Dream," is in part inspired and also based off of a lot of Camus books.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
As someone who reads his stuff.
Yeah.
Another.
So,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you're big fan of Camus. Big fan of.
I like his writings. He's a very misunderstood author because he is
Mhm.
a big critic on nihilism, and nihilists fucking love Albert Camus for whatever reason. It's one of those things where it's the problem of you show what something can lead to, and it's worse. And the people who like that stuff go, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what
Scarface.
Scarface.
Yeah.
Oh man, hey Nick, did you know Ian didn't know about the Scarface game?
I did
Really?
not. I did.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had to tell him the premise. Do you remember the premise?
The one where it's not the prostitute one, is it? Like the one where he's like chasing them. Oh, I'm thinking
I think that's a
Liechtenstein, never mind.
mission. Well, like
Yeah, my
the
bad. I'm
premise
thinking
of the
Liechtenstein.
game.
No, I forgot.
He lives in the end.
Yeah, right. It's supposed to be like, oh,
Scarface, and you must kill everyone who killed you. In your
Literally
mansion.
undermining the point of the movie, which is
Absolutely.
this lifestyle fucks you up and will destroy you.
Nah, he's immortal. It's Tony Montana, dude.
Yeah.
He's got the drugs and the money and the women and the power.
It undermines the movie, but also that's pretty funny. Like that's pretty good. Like that's commitment, is what that is. Yeah, that's how the Scarface PS2.
It's the people who watch Starship Troopers and said, yeah, but what if it was less tongue in cheek? What if there was less haha, more yes earnest. Yeah.
Oh man. So Albert Camus is one of those. I love The Stranger. Helped me with understanding that I'm him and like Kierkegaard, right? And
wait, is it this? Oh yeah, Albert Camus. Yeah, The Stranger.
Camus, yeah, Mammon died today. And helped me understand that I am an existentialist on an island by many disregards, and I think nihilism is actually a detriment. But whatever, man. People will read whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, because there's always that extra step with it, of like you said, if they're exposed, you know, because the closest example I can think of this case is misunderstanding would be with honestly anything after The Watchmen and the praise it got after, and Alan Moore and Gibbons talking about how much they hated the American comic art movements being about like embracing that edge and embracing that that violence. I mean, and it's tough because like I can't deny that part. Like kind of like Chris, like I had the part where I was very much into that edgy part of it, but also like when reading Albert Camus, it did help me have that perspective of seeing like the detriment and like damage it can have on everyone really. And it's and that was honestly the whole point of Watchmen. Like it wasn't even because Ozymandias was totally right, but at the same time, like it was that, again, like the moment that embodies that is Ozymandias asking if he did the right thing.
Favorite line in this.
Yeah, it might be the best one, honestly. But yeah,
I could write a paper on just that one bucket, like how perfect I think it is. But anyway, it's gonna be one of those things, right?
Yeah. So in that case, for Avenged Sevenfold's album, I think no, I'm saying like it's actually more positive in that perspective of it. Like the first couple, there's honestly two parts to the album. Like the first 5 songs, then like the next 5 songs after.
Yeah.
I do feel like it gets more it is uplifting, but I'm wondering, would it be preachy? But it is one of those where like a lot of songs took a while to grow on me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like first listen, music was kind of hit or miss. But like I don't know, re-listening to something, I was like, oh, okay, this one's better than I thought, or I can appreciate it.
Okay.
Like I will say, the music video called "Nobody," which is their third track on the album, is really good. Actually, I actually really like it. It's like full on stop motion.
That was the one you told me about.
Yeah, it was actually really nice. I really dug it. I dug like it did remind me of like early 2000s videos like Tool or like I don't know, any Offspring, and you know all those videos in regards to like war and like everything's kind of cataclysmic and all that.
Yeah. So okay, let me ask you a question. If I do listen to this album, because you know me, and I love me, but right now, Hell Ripper's album is still my favorite album of the year. That's even including, didn't Gorillaz album come out this year, right?
It did come out this year, yeah.
I think Hell Ripper's album is my favorite album. So.
Yeah,
it's definitely up there for me.
It's a nigh perfect metal album, I think. Like,
yeah,
and it rips so fucking hard. Will this knock out Hell Ripper's album?
Nope, not at all.
Damn. It's so good. That album's crazy good, man.
Yeah.
It's like the best metal album I heard, and like best like brand new metal out. Like for those anyone have any interest in metal, Hell Rippers, Warlocks, Grim, and Weathered Hags. Fucking mwah. I can't wait to find out he's like a Nazi or something. But Scottish metal. Scottish
metal. Hell yeah.
Okay, but yeah. Is that it for music?
Yeah.
Third one?
For a third one, I had
because I'm looking at
it would. Yeah, like it wouldn't be like stuff that recently came out. I think I was like revisiting some older stuff. I was like revisiting. I was listening to like I was telling Chris, I was listening to a lot of Supertramp. Like I never like listened to any of their albums,
which shocked me.
And I don't know. I thought it was pretty good.
They are good.
I love Supertramp. Yeah, they're great.
What the fuck saying Supertramp?
I never finished. No, I just never like finished one to beginning to end. So I started binging like their very early stuff, you know, from the self-titled to Breakfast in America, and then I think the last thing I listened to was Famous Last Words, like their '80s release. But yeah, it's tough to like say anything that hasn't been said for like over the decades. It's just really good.
What was name? Okay, just to bring it on track. Name one thing that you liked about the album. Then, just like a specific thing.
You know, like it's. I mean, right off the bat, like I really did enjoy, kind of this. At least in the earlier stuff, like they're very much that whole theme and sort of constant stories in the lyrics about like embracing like a lot of the madness of life, and then finding like ways to like finding values in that. It actually reminded me a lot of like Talking Heads in that regard, where a lot of lyrics are like the absurdity of these things you're just constantly exposed to. But that's why I really liked Asylum and Bloody Well Right and stuff like that. But it's like it's British as shit, like in that regard.
Speaking of Talking Heads, I forgot to mention this to you. Did you see that Conan O'Brien interviewed David Byrne?
No.
I saw it. I didn't get a chance to listen.
Okay. I felt like I learned nothing watching that thing. But maybe you could tell me if there was something new. Because you love Talking Heads, so like,
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
I mean, they have a good time. It's entertaining, but I was like, feel like I didn't get like I didn't learn. He's doing a
Yeah.
new show. That's the thing, and it sounds kind of cool. It's like a blend of like it's live, it's theater, but it's like a story told through music.
Yeah.
Not a musical, but more like he wanted it to be disco music.
Hmm.
Okay.
It's about that the Philippines dictator's wife.
Hmm.
Emilda with all the shoes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Oh, and
Yeah.
that do you want me to spoil the suit thing? Do you know how the suit came about?
The suit?
No.
The oversized suit he wears and dances
Oh.
in one
Tell-
video?
No.
They just said, well, what are you going to do for your stage show? Everything has to be bigger. And he drew, like someone jokingly said that, and he drew like a man in just a big suit.
Oh wow.
And that was that. That was
Okay.
Nice.
interesting.
Oh, nice.
No, but it's also modeled after like Japanese theater. Like I forget what specific outfit, but it makes them look kind of blocky with big shoulder pads.
Oh.
Like Kabuki theater? Or?
I think so, but I think he named it specifically like what it
Mhm.
was.
Oh, okay.
That was probably the most interesting thing.
Oh, nice.
I'm not knocking the interview. I love David Burns, and I thought it was very fun listening.
Mm.
But I also
Yeah,
felt
man.
like if you know Talking Heads, you're gonna kind of hear
Mm.
saying things again.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Which
Nice.
it is what it is. Could be. Doesn't have to be different.
But yeah, Supertramp good.
Supertramp good.
Is good.
All right. So moving on. Unless Ian, do you have any music thing, or should we move on to another thing?
Any
Because
music?
Nick did mention manga.
Oh well. Here's just a short music thing about me I can say from this last
Yeah.
month.
Mhm.
I think everyone knows what I say when I mean I knew a lot of people who listened to Claro going through school, and I said I'm not gonna be. It's she's an independent vocalist singer, but she's very popular with.
Can you be a
women.
singer without being a vocalist?
Good question.
Just to be a dick, can you? I got a new computer monitor, so it looks bright as fuck on my.
Dude,
It looks like
look.
you're being abducted.
Yeah, we gotta talk about the alien thing later.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead, Claro.
Oh, anyway, just to say, I thought I was too cool to listen to her, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna. And now I have. So to all my lesbian friends from school, you got me. You were right. She's very good. Sorry, everyone. You were right.
Good. I feel like I've heard a song from her before. I recognize her.
She's popular enough that I think she's had some singles that kind of has slipped out there into the mainstream, I'd say.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's it. That's all the music I have anything to say about it.
Apologies to the lesbians and
Yeah.
Sorry, lesbians. My bad.
Sorry. So Nick, tell me about the manga you've been reading.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah.
Welcome.
So I've been. So I do want to say there's one main one I want to gush about, and then there's two smaller ones that are ongoing. I want to bring up a bit. One of them being a very short 3-volume manga about food trucks in a Mad Max world.
Sick. That's pretty cool. It's
called
premise.
Crazy Food Truck, and what it's about is about crazy
food. That's so fun.
food trucks. It's about
Does it sound better? Does it sound better in Japanese? Like,
and things get kind of wild. Yeah.
Things get a little crazy.
Crazy.
I don't want to oversell it, guys, but
hey, welcome to Crazy Food Truck. Let's go.
No, but it's pretty good. I do very much appreciate that. It's a manga about just like a literal the cliche of outlaw on the run, disguised himself as a food truck. As a food truck driver / cook, and he goes around this like sci-fi Mad Max world, just harvesting ingredients and stuff like that. But it's pretty much like it's a very 2000s plot thing of you have that, and then he suddenly almost runs over a body bag in the middle of the road in the desert.
Oh.
And then turns out it's a really hot, attractive
Oh my god.
woman, naked.
Obviously.
And then it turns out she's a super weapon that the military's after. And then now they're both on the run. And she's got a big appetite. No, it's good. I really
You know what? For a manga called Crazy Food Truck with that, fuck it, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know what's one of the best parts of Mad Max Fury Road, one of the best lines, is when they go is after traveling through the desert towards a green place, they go to that tower, or they reach that tower, and there's a naked woman in there going help, and Max stops the car and goes, "It's a trap."
Yeah.
And y'all go, "We have to help," and he's like, "No."
Yeah.
And then it is a trap. They spring on a bunch of motorcycles.
Yep.
Great, done, dusted. But it's not a trap, is what you're telling me. There's just a body bag in this.
Just a body bag with
hot ass desert.
Yeah.
Super sexy weapon lady.
Exactly. It felt like how to describe it? It felt like reading two side characters to a bigger plot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it felt like I was reading a side B plot to a main story. They did a really cool job with. Yeah, they did a really cool job with that, of like having a pretty straightforward story and like this pretty it's a really. I'm surprised how detailed and like very elaborate and thought out the world is, and you get these like great.
Well, that kind of sells me on it though. It's like this highly thought out world, but you're seeing the most ridiculous like characters.
Yeah, it's no, it's really good. Really liked it. It's only 3 volumes. And yeah, no, not much else to say on that. And the art for it is really great. There's like, I really do dig like how grounded and like it's literally like those old kung fu movies style of like choreography, and like they do cool like spread pacing with it. That's really good. Yeah, there's that. Just like, and again, like reading it, it feels like a very 2000s like I feel like I've seen this show 1,000 times growing up, but but no, I don't complain. It's just really good. Can't really complain there. Yeah, so on that, moving on, there's like an ongoing manga I've been reading that's like apparently it's halfway done overall, but I was telling Chris about it, Ian. It's entirely a battle manga that's entirely within a tournament, but I sold it to Chris as it is Baki Kengan Ashura meets Drifters. Like, yeah, it's like Baki meets like Drifters, where essentially the tournament is every single fighter is a historical figure, but in this case they're all like women figures in history fighting each other.
Okay,
that's fun.
What's that?
That's fun. Yeah, like
no, it's really fun. I went for the I started for the horny. I ended with an existential crisis because that's
how it always ends.
That's exactly the kind of adult content I'm looking for.
Yeah,
I think they call it clarity.
They call it post clarity. You get so pretty much like it is like the whole setup is right after these female figures die in the real world. Essentially, when they go to the afterlife, they get a choice. They're all sent to the depths of hell, and it's a tournament run by Ophelia, the succubus, and she's saying that and the whole deal is like you have to fight. Everyone here is to fight for their freedom to go back to when to be revived.
Okay.
And then so yeah, so the main character is Joan of Arc. They
Obvious.
do, yeah, it's Joan of Arc, but they do a cool thing of like all the powers they receive because it's the afterlife, and like again, like it's just everyone's just perceiving themselves how they are or how they once were.
Wait,
They
so your
end up,
powers are how you view yourself?
yeah.
Oh, sick.
So
So it's
they
like
start.
Cleopatra.
So you
like...
can.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna
Oh,
say...
I was.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna do something dumb about how that's why it's so scintillating when Helen Keller and Mother Teresa finally get to know each other in this story. It is.
There is
Okay, so is Mother
You joke.
Teresa the most powerful? Because apparently he really was full of himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love Cleopatra.
So the short answer to that is she has not been introduced, but she is mentioned.
Oh no.
Can't wait.
However,
Helen Keller is in it, and she is just terrible. I'm sorry.
she is she in there? I'm trying to remember. No,
don't know.
she's not in there.
Okay.
She is no. Who is in there is Marie Antoinette. That was one of the first fights.
Antoinette, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, the first fight is between Bathory, Elizabeth
Cool.
Bathory.
I was gonna ask. Cool.
Nice.
Between Bathory and I'm trying again. I gotta remember all these names, but yeah, it was with
history.
Yeah, it was just like again, they do such a great job. It's the EPO of like you get the setup of both the characters, and then like behind the scenes, and then it leads up to the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But that's honestly like the biggest thing that stood out to me is just how well paced everything is, and they do a great job of like these characters. Like some of the characters you aren't going to see after the fight because again, it's to death or like they're just essentially sent to
super
hell.
death.
Yeah, they go to
double
super
death.
hell, or they go to super heaven. Who knows? Like, and yeah, so essentially the powers are just drawn by like this system of like how they perceive themselves and what they're like what their entire identity was built around of when they received their power in like the real world. Some was pride, some was like adventure, some
Okay.
Oh yes, the power of adventure.
The power of friendship.
Do they get laser eyes? Like, hang on. So what's the power? So you say the power of adventure, right?
Yeah. So it starts off vague, but like their physical power. Some of them are like direct, like some are just big weapons.
Got it.
Like
Joan of Arc would have the sword.
Yeah, she has a sword.
Yeah.
The Elizabeth
gives people tumors and things, and you know,
as you do.
That's one.
Mary Read is in it.
Okay.
And she's actually my favorite character. Like her story is really interesting because they do play off of her like having those delusions of her.
That
of her
sucks. When you
a little bit.
Not in the sense of choice, right? Like a story or anything. I mean, it sucks that when you die, you still have them.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucked.
Yeah, that's messed.
But you also said, okay, so that follows the logic of you. It's the moment you die.
Yeah. So it's like the state you were in. Is carried over
died.
Physically and mentally. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. It's always like that's an age-old question for heaven too. Like when I die, which version of myself?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's cool stuff like that. I thought Mary Read, her whole thing was really interesting. Where her whole thing is, if I come back to life, my shipmates or my crewmates will be with me. Yeah. And we'll go on the adventures again. But it's built on this delusion because in real life she was betrayed by her entire crewmates for the French. So
fucking sucked.
But she didn't know. That was the whole thing. She had no idea.
That was the tragedy.
Yeah. There's that. Everything to do with like Marie Antoinette and Catherine the Great was really good. Okay. Because they did play off the actual historical fact of both of them were appreciators of each other.
Yeah.
Um, and they do an interesting thing with Catherine the Great, where she, like, her whole powers derive from her willingness to adapt and to change
Okay.
to a situation. So,
Oh, and that's reflective of her how she ran the kingdom too. Okay, yeah,
yeah.
that's cool.
So
Yeah.
there's a great, yeah. So what's also cool is, like, the tournament is held between heaven and hell. So there's people in the afterlife who died, like, say, like, Joan of Arc or Cleopatra. You had followers that died. They would be in the tournament stands, and they're like in between the fights. It would just be them recollecting and recalling, like, their experience.
Oh, that's a
following
good way. That's a good framing device for, and then we're gonna cut to a flashback, like,
Yeah.
type deal, right?
Yeah. So,
Because I will say another manga I'm having a little bit of an issue with their flashbacks. We'll get to. I'll mention that because I think that's gonna be your third manga.
Okay. For sure.
But
Yeah.
anything else about this? What's it called again?
It is called The War of Greedy Witches. That is the English name. That's what direct.
Okay. Are the witches? Are the witches the women who died? And
Yes.
fuck. What? Come on. Like, yeah.
Now,
I don't
we
know
could
about
call
that
it
name,
The
man.
War of Greedy Bitches, but
Sure.
witches.
I don't know.
I feel like I just unsold you on it. No, but
I don't know. I don't know. I did.
what if I told you Mona Lisa's in it? How about that?
Sure.
Okay.
Whoever she was.
Yeah.
We know it had
Who
to
are
be
you?
someone.
Amelia Earhart's in it. She was cool.
And all we know is that she had this like smile that people like.
Yeah.
Because that was it. We don't know who would actually. What about the girl in the pearl with the pearl earring? Because she doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Was the whole point for that? Does she show up? If we're gonna just do
uh,
art.
Do paintings have souls, Nick?
Do paintings?
Really quick. Do paintings have...
Well,
I don't know why I'm getting so angry about that.
What does Jesus say about it?
What does
do
Jesus
paintings...
say? How?
Oh, no,
okay,
that's
how
not
close to modern day are these historical figures?
Yeah, Amelia Earhart's in it.
Just fucking Thatcher show up. And
Margaret Thatcher?
What?
Margaret Thatcher?
Margaret Thatcher. Does she show up?
No, not that I know.
Does
who does
Jesse's
show
girl from Jesse's Girl show up?
Jesse's girl or Jesse's girl?
I promise it's good. That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
The conclusion is that it's a good manga. It's a fun, again, it's just really good at pacing and characters. For an entire manga about tournament, that's the most crucial thing.
Yeah,
and
fair enough.
It sticks out the most. And you know what was a great case of that was both Baki had that pretty bad. Second was Battle Angel Alita, the last Rising, the second manga was just a tournament arc.
Yeah.
And that had a bunch of issues I would rant about, but yeah.
Yeah. But rant you shall not right now because excuse me. We're running a little low on time if we're gonna do the Barbie thing. So really quickly, Nick, two more things you check down, then we'll go to Ian.
Two more things? Okay, fine. Kaiju number 8. It's great. It's good.
Wait, what? How many more things did you have?
No, I had Kaiju number 8, and I was going to talk about I read No Country for Old Men. It was good.
Ooh,
that was it.
Oh, okay, so then we're fine. What's the problem?
What do you mean? What's my problem? It's your problem.
What's with the? Why you get it all snippy? Okay, fine. All right, Kaiju number 8. Kaiju number 8. You read Kaiju number 8.
It's a good, great manga.
Is it done?
It is not done. It's almost
okay. Because I started reading it.
But of course it's almost done. Yeah, it's really good. It is
good. I have some problems.
Okay, what's your problem?
But keep going. I want to hear your thing before I mention mine.
I just want to talk about the premise, and then we can get into the.
Got it. Sure.
Okay. So the premise is about a, you know, Ian in kaiju films, there's in every fight with kaijus against kaiju in city in Japan, like there's a cleanup crew after.
Yes.
Okay, so the main
Well,
character is part of
no,
that.
there's not.
Okay.
That's the whole thing about most kaiju movies is you don't fucking know what happens after to it. It's kind of why Pacific Rim's really cool.
Yeah.
In that you start out in a corpse.
Yes.
Because it's this awful biohazard thing. And what's that? There's one more that touches upon it. Like recently. Shin Godzilla, in a sense. But you don't find out about the cleanup. Pacific Rim, you do. That's what kind of makes it cool. But it's not very... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask, what's the one where Anne Hathaway has a drinking problem? That one also is about kaijus. That
is that Godzilla 2000?
No. It's like her and Jason Sudeikis, and they made a film in like 2017 where when they binge drink, they take over the bodies of kaiju. Do you guys not remember this one?
Anne Hathaway and Jason Sudeikis movie. Colossal.
That's it.
Oh, I saw a poster for this. I never watched it. Is that what that's about?
Yeah, it's about confronting your drinking.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah, I liked it. It. Pretty... Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. Okay, and the only other instance I can think of, Nick, where they talk about cleanup crew is the Godzilla comic book. The legend ones is modeled after the legendary stuff.
Yeah.
They have not only cleanup crew for specific monsters. Because they're all different.
Like Mothra and
Mothra, Hedorah, like Mothra has some like they're all hippies that clean up the crew because they know how to like they can follow the philosophy of the monster and all that. Hedorah, which is the slime smog monster, has just like heavy duty cleaner guys that are all decked out. Like they look like they mop up oil off the ocean floor.
Okay.
And Rodan has like they wear fire suits, protective suits. It's all these cool things. It's like one of the cooler parts of that comic. But that was to go back to Kaiju number 8. That is like a very interesting premise because you don't hear about the team like at all.
In this Kaiju number 8, we're starting from the premise of the cleanup crew after the fact?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, Nick?
Yeah, it's after the fact.
Okay.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, it's
Kaiju make me excited.
No, it was the thing. Like I wouldn't. You know what's funny? Like I wouldn't even say it's like, even though it has kaiju, it doesn't feel like a kaiju manga. It actually, I would actually go closer to Attack on Titan, where the whole thing is like, oh, we're gonna. Eren Yeager has the Titan, and then.
Mm-hmm. Or like Final Wars, where a bunch of them show up.
Yeah.
And there is an attack group.
Yeah.
Like there's a mobilized unit. Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
So with Kaiju number 8, what characters are we following specifically, Nick?
Yeah.
We're following the main character of Kafka Hibino, which is the main protagonist who is part of the cleanup crew. And his whole thing is, him feeling like he, fell behind in life, and he sees a childhood friend who is the top leader of the attack unit against kaiju in Japan, and the whole premise is that he gets an opportunity to try out for the cadets for the attack corporation in Japan for kaiju, and very much like him trying to navigate and like process like just how much time has passed, and also coming to terms with being 32 and like feeling like he hasn't done enough with his life, which is like a very real thing.
Yeah, I can't relate.
Yeah, man.
Can't
Me
relate to
neither.
that.
Not that
No.
old yet. So
Can I say, Nick, that was genuinely one of my favorite parts of the manga when I started out, was finding out he was 32.
Yeah.
And then I'm reading this at my also day job in order to supply money for my writing.
Uh-huh.
I'm doing manual labor. And I'm like,
Mhm.
and Nick is recommending this to me, and it has kaiju. You say?
well,
Oh.
Yeah.
It was just very funny in that break room
It was a great joke, Chris. I'm
when
glad
I was
you
when
I'm
I
glad
was
you liked
reading it.
it. Yeah. Ha ha ha, that's me. Ha ha ha. But yeah, it's really good.
nice.
It is.
And visually, it's really. I mean, just the way to do scaling and like
Yeah,
all
that part.
the end, the designs of all the kaiju's are really cool and very. They actually remind me more of like Biolante. They're more like
Oh, okay.
symbiotic or like more
There's
tentacle.
definitely this theming, because all kaiju are organic, right?
Yeah.
But there
Yeah.
is a theming around just how organic they are. Like
Mhm.
closer, some of them are like, I don't want to get too much into spoilery, but one of them's really close to a fungus, I think.
Oh, that sounds cool.
And like locusts. Yeah. Which there are giant bug kaiju movies.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what were some of your favorite parts of this, Nick?
Again, like the whole thing with the main character always been
Main
the
character's
highlight.
great.
Yeah,
Great main character.
absolutely. The side characters definitely grew on me, like, to say the least. And no, totally. And like, honestly, some of the best parts are a lot of the fights.
Yeah, they're
I
good.
they're really good. Just really cool use of, kind of like scaling everything to humans, and it again. I don't, because my issue with Gantz was always with the suits,
Right.
mainly.
Yeah.
And it's like at some point I'm like, well, why even put them on if you're gonna have aliens so strong they're just gonna rip through you anyway.
Yeah, well, I guess it's supposed to be reflective of like it's your only shot type deal.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, those are some of my highlights. But I don't know, Chris, what do you think?
Yeah.
So I really like what I read so far. I think I'm at the halfway point
Okay.
of whatever chapter is out. The art's great. I like the monster designs. I'm a little bummed that we go so quick to human-sized monsters. But I get it. And luckily they're really cool designs. The human.
Yeah.
I really like just how evil the evil one was. It's fun. The jokes work really well. I like how. Okay, so you know how like shonen manga has that thing where they got to start off the character at a low,
Yeah.
right? In order to keep building, because it's only going to go up.
Yeah.
This one of the ways they do that to show you just how like, or to just be like how low point this guy is in his life. It's just constantly everyone going, yeah, he's the worst. And just whenever it would be like he can maybe show an ounce of talent here, whether taking a physical test for the thing, he's like the lowest scoring. Not just that, everyone who took the test around him are like top of the class rich folks who have been training their entire life to be recruited for monster hunting. And like we're trained by science and money from birth to make it, right? And he just has no shot, no chance. And then when he gets his like this isn't even a spoiler, I think it's in either the first or second chapter, where he gets his kaiju powers.
Okay.
Which, by the way, his transformation design is fantastic. It's really fucking cool. Like, it's a cool design. I love just how, like, it is humanoid shape, but that's a monster that you're looking at, right?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so far so good. The humor lands. I like that every character looks really different.
Yeah.
From each other. I really appreciate that. Everyone's good looking is my only thing, but I guess like it's that thing of money and science to make human specimens that can fight. Yeah, type deal. I also there's a couple things I appreciate that are smaller details. I appreciate that the manual labor crew, all those people look out for each other, because that's what you do when you do manual labor. Definitely. You're just like always checking in and being like, "Hey man, you all right? You gotta get that checked out, or like make sure you're all good." Really appreciate that representation for that. The difference between knowing how to use muscles and just having them is well done in there. So let me just get into a little bit of the gripes. I have a little bit, and Nick, you can tell me this. I have a fear. I have a fear in this game. Because there's a character in there who is introduced, and I think one of the first things they tell you about her is she's 16. And our main character is 32. And I mean, so far it doesn't look like there's anything romantic going on. It looks like very much like, you know, she didn't have a father who was who would tell her she did a good job. And he would, because aforementioned, he worked on a manual labor crew, and that's what you do to keep each other going. Yeah. You let them know, hey, when you're doing good and when you're doing bad. You gotta be honest, and that way jobs can get done. Something that is only understood if you... I feel like the author must have done manual labor at some point. Or knows someone who did it. Maybe. Just so the way the dynamics work in it. And I'm really scared that... there's gonna be a relationship between those two, but so far it doesn't look like it, and I'm good with that. I'm cool. I'm just I don't know if I can do that. If I can read that.
So yeah. So it's like you're worried that there'll be a romantic relationship or
between a dude who's double her age, and she's. I'm really scared.
Hey,
I don't want to read that.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Actually. Slightly less than double her age, technically. So,
that's my biggest fear. Okay, the only other actual real critique too. The one thing I do appreciate about this manga is that it goes, like, we get to it. We're hitting the marks really easy to the point where I go, I don't even know what the end game is right now, other than he's got to defeat the baddie. Yeah, type deal. Or they got to defeat that. There's some paneling in the manga that I'm like, I feel like could have been more effective. There's like shots I'm being like, you can make that into a really good horror shot if it was a turn of the page versus in the same page type deal. I could give specific examples, but I don't want to waste everyone's time by like pulling up stuff. Right. I just think could have been done a little bit more effectively, but other than that, I think it's fantastic. It's super fun. I'm glad you recommended this to me. I'm having a blast reading it. It's really fun.
Thanks. Yeah.
Just worried about that 16-year-old relationship with the 32-year-old man.
Keeping our eyes peeled.
So far, it seems fine. It seems like they're comrades, and you know she's just not used to having people tell her, "Hey, you did a good job today."
Maybe it's a
okay.
451 situation, you know?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Nick, I'm really scared with how quiet you are. On that
I don't know. Like, I could just spoil it. Like, do you want me to?
That's true.
How do you want me to do? Like,
okay, don't. I'm just gonna keep reading.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, no, totally. Like, it's very much, yeah, just a fantastic. I mean, yeah, like you said, just the energy of it all.
Yeah, the energy is really great.
And every character is very distinct, both visually and personality wise.
Great shots of impact. Everything feels strong when it hits.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the monster designs are legit great. Like, I love them.
Oh yeah. Number eight's pretty sick.
Yeah, Kaiju number 8 looks cool. I'm a fan of number 9.
Yeah, number 9 is really
I think it
interesting.
looks really cool. I like when they do the full spreads of him with his powers. How weird they look compared to everything else in the manga, which is a lot of more rocky type of like sharp things versus organic, like all that.
Oh, totally.
But yeah. Okay. Anything else, Nick, before we move on to Ian, so we can go to the Barbie thing?
Well, I read No Country for Old Men.
Good.
It's really good, man. All right, next thing. I won't waste your time. I'm sorry, Chris.
Well, okay, go ahead. Talk about No Country for Old Men. We can start the Barbie thing at like 8:30 instead.
No, then we can just skip then. Hey, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, do I talk about it?
Yeah, go talk about it.
Main thoughts on Cormac McCarthy. Go
yeah. What's your?
I mean, I never read any of his stuff. Like, I watched The Road when it came out back then. It was good. I mean, it's messed up. It's not something you go, ooh, look at that. I'm gonna go hit play on that again. That was a banger. Like,
I've watched No Country for Old Men like 3 times, but yeah.
But No Country for Old Men, like, I always loved the film.
Yeah.
And there's not much. I'm trying to think of something that hasn't been said about it. Just like, visually, it is still my favorite movie from the Coen brothers.
How close an adaptation is this? Now that you've read one, watched the movie.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like the movie captured a lot of, like, they captured the tension and like disturbing factor very well of both Sugar and about just how terrifying it is and how vulnerable you kind of are out there. Like, when you're traveling out there. And then second, they definitely, I think it really is just the strength of Cormac's like dialogue and characters had transferred like so well to the film. And just gave me appreciation for adaptation, but also like having dialogue where I can't say any of it's like wasted. It felt like everything had its place. And the book wise, like there's actually, I didn't know going in, but like the whole famous scene of Sugar in the gas station with the coin flip, I didn't know he had a whole monologue after. The guy says tails. But there's actually a couple of that in the book that obviously wouldn't translate to the movie because of pacing.
Right.
There's like 2 scenes that I am actually bummed out is not in the film. That I wished were kind of like like wishing, but then also like because of production and everything, I totally understand why they went the direction they went. But I would have liked to have seen visually, especially in Coen style film, of the whole showing Sugar like actually explaining and like challenging these characters like beliefs, but also like just how ruthless Sugar is through it all. And again, like the actors and directors of the film did an awesome job for that. But I do think, at least, I do think like the book really, really did such a great job pushing just how scary and just how like this person, like this is barely a person like who's killing everyone. And just they did such a good job with that. And I was surprised. Like the book is really disturbing. It's a really messed up book. Like just the descriptions of all the violence, everything to do with like the pressure cookers. Man, it's so good.
Yeah. I'll leap in for a little bit of a transitional thought, but like one of my favorite novels as a freshman in college was Blood Meridian, which is like this brutal Western novel that nobody's been able to adapt Although I think they were working on it before the strike. They were talking about adapting Blood Meridian.
That's the one that's considered to have made him like considered a great American author.
Yeah,
Which
it's
he
like
oh good.
yeah.
Oh, which I was gonna say, which he didn't become famous till like that was like 30 years into writing.
Mm-hmm.
He was old. Like he I think he died before No Country for Old Men came out. Way before.
Yeah, he died.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Cormac McCarthy recently passed away. What I meant was it was way later in his life type deal.
Right.
But yeah, Blood Meridian was the one, I think.
Blood Meridian.
Personally, oh good.
Blood Meridian absolutely was like, as far as his like legacy.
Yeah,
that's like, I think the one. You're right. The one that he'll forever be tied to, probably.
Yeah. I'm gonna try not to go into too. Oh, sorry. Did you have more to say?
One last thing. I was just gonna say to your idea. Like, McCarthy writes just the most evil remote characters so well. He's amazing at it. Talent. The judge also just like an almost
people
supernatural figure.
Fucking hate. Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. I feel like I can go. I'm gonna restrain it because I could go into Cormac McCarthy because I fell in love with him in high school, and I never talk about it, but he's like one of my favorite authors. The Road. I know it's a little basic for taste, but The Road's like one of my favorite books. It's fantastic. So I can't wait for you to read that, Nick. Like, check it out.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, definitely.
He's considered one of the great American authors for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really showing, and I'm saving The Road for like later after I read Blood Meridian, and right now
different. It's very different.
Yeah.
It's in fact, it's like you could take that out and be like, if you didn't know that was Cormac McCarthy, I don't know if you'd be able to tell, except for how he writes like the main character.
Yeah. Those pros, man.
Yeah. But yeah. Okay, so Ian, any quick ones you want to get in before Barbie?
Yeah, I'll just do a quick rundown real quick.
Yeah.
Only one I have anything that I have like a little bit of pitching to do. So the short list was, I mentioned last month a book I started reading. I finished Saucers, Spooks, and Kooks by Adam Gorkley, which is a text interviewing like basically the people most involved in UFO UAP investigation in the Southwest through the 80s and 90s.
I still haven't watched that hearing that just happened.
I wanted to ask you it. So, Nick, have you
that hearing at work?
I have not. No.
It's not really an alien cool guy.
It's really cool. You guys, when you guys get a chance to watch it, I really want to talk about like, I thought that the language used was really interesting in that. Okay. But yeah, it got me kind of excited. That book's super fun. And then another book that I just finished that I'm going to recommend is is called 90s Bitch, which I was thinking about. It's an collection of essays on prominent women in the 1990s with kind of a feminist bent to it. And I mean, it's really interesting. It's kind of following up on my trend of 90s reading currently.
Yeah.
Let me just say, you'd think that after 170 pages, there'd be no more new ways for something unfortunate to happen to women in public, but then you get surprised. And then you get surprised.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can fully believe that.
One other thing that also I think was worth a mention in this was there's a whole bunch of like figures that get forgotten on the pile of history.
Yeah.
And when you get to kind of examine 10 years, you get a little deeper into it. Mm-hmm. I totally forgot one of Will Ferrell's most popular characters when he started SNL was Janet Reno. Like,
Oh,
from
yeah. It's the
where
boxing clip. Where
yes,
yeah,
exactly.
no, I remember that.
And I did not remember that. And then I was like, real Janet Reno didn't talk that deep, right? No, Will Ferrell's just doing a bit. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting book. It's if you did not live through the 90s and you're interested in what was going on then, it's fairly interesting. I could recommend it definitely if that's kind of something that you're interested in. And then really quick, I wanted to talk about some TV, and then we can just jump into Barbie.
Right on.
So I've been coming back to TV shows recently. What We Do in the Shadows is now on episode 4 of season 5.
Yes, I just started the new season.
How are you liking it?
So far so good. Yeah, no, I mean, so, Guillermo's whole conflict this season is really funny.
Yes.
Really great. I forgot what episode. I think episode 3, the last one I saw. And just straight up, I have no idea how he's gonna get out of this one. Gotta watch the season to figure out.
I like that every season they kind of find new excuses to change the dynamic of who's pairing off for storylines this season.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
That's fun. And you get to see Nandor and Matthew Berry's character for the first time in a while, I think.
Yeah, for quite a while, I would say. Yeah.
For an episode that just keeps escalating out of just nowhere, because the only logic being the only logic being it's a bunch of drunk middle-aged dudes from Staten Island.
Yep.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need. What We Do in the Shadows is great. Recommend, please go check that out when you get a chance.
Yes, great job.
What other? I've also been watching. Oh, have you watched The Bear? I haven't watched it yet, but I'm thinking.
I worked in a kitchen for 2 years now.
No, okay, fair enough.
I heard it's good. I'm probably not gonna.
And it's got like everyone in it. Apparently, Toni Collette's in it. Bob Odenkirk's in it.
And apparently it's funny. Apparently it's funny. No.
Me neither.
That's why I won't watch the menu. I'm like, I know people like that. I don't need to.
I don't need to remember. I remember.
Yeah. I know a fucking restaurant works. Come on. Jesus.
What other? I also
hang on. I just want to say, I know it sounds very dismissive of the show. I know the show's good.
Yes.
It's just that since I worked in a kitchen for a while,
you don't need to go back to that.
Not only that, everyone's been asking me, "Have you seen The Bear? You would like The Bear. You worked in a kitchen." I'm like, maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. I don't feel like revisiting that right now, so I'm gonna keep working on what I'm working on.
Hey, Tom, you worked in a jail, right? You like Orange is the New Black?
Black, yeah. So I'll be good for a while. I'm sure it's good. Everyone enjoy it.
One other show that I've been trying out more of Hulu, playing around with it.
Yeah.
I did sit down and I watched like 5 episodes of This Fool from ABC.
Is that good? I know my dad likes it, and like my neighbor likes that.
You know what, man? I jumped right into season 2, and I feel like they kind of found what's working for them.
They found it better.
Well, yeah. So, like, full disclosure, I watched the pilot and then the second episode, and I was like, let's see if this, if the comedy kind of picks up steam in season 2. And so, here's my soft pitch for that: is an hour-long episode that involves being held at gunpoint in a store as a comedy show. It is, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I'd recommend it. It made me laugh. I've been trying like a handful of those sitcoms just to kind of get back into the rhythm of it. And everyone liked Abbott, and I thought it was just like pretty good. It didn't kind of like.
Oh, I really like Abbott.
Okay.
Yeah, really.
I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
It Donald Glover said the thing that I found most impressive about the show as well is that it's really good at just making characters work off each other.
Very much so.
Which is hard.
Yes.
That is very hard in writing when you have that many characters and they all got to be funny. They all got to be within their thing and like work off. So I wonder how much is that the writing versus the actors. I find that show. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say they work very hard on the writing on that show. Yeah. I'm sure. Go ahead.
Some of the events are tight. I find it my comforting sitcom for right now.
Okay.
That's where it's at. It's funny. It's not like I'm rolling on the ground laughing or it hits me quite as hard as like some jokes in like the way Barry does or What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
But it's my comforting sitcom that I've known growing up, like type deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where it's at.
Okay. And then, well, guys, I've got one last pitch before we jump into Barbie that I gotta review. So HBO purged a bunch of shows.
It sure fucking did.
It sure did, and it was a real bummer. There was an HBO series. What's that?
This is like the second time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
First time was a bunch of animated stuff. So.
And then a bunch of live action stuff. Yeah. And then Zaslav has the nerve to blame the writers for being anyway.
Fucking does.
Fucking anyway.
Burn it all, man. Burn it all.
Burn it all. Burn it. So one of the shows that got axed that I was very broke up about was The Minx. I thought it was like one of my favorite shows of last year. I don't know if you guys remember me talking about it last year when it came out. But it's season 1 was set in North Hollywood and San Gabriel, and it centered around a woman, a feminist professor from 1972 who, through a series of circumstance, gets involved with making a female erotic magazine that also has like feminist articles and essays in it. It was a pretty good show. It was pretty funny. Jack Johnson is in it, the fun Spider-Man.
I thought like the musician.
Is it Jake Johnson is his name maybe? And I said it wrong.
Nick, who was the Spider-Man?
In what?
In Across the Spider-Verse, Peter B. Parker.
Oh, isn't that Chris Pine? Am I crazy?
No. It's something Johnson. It's either Jack or John. John Johnson or Jack Johnson. One of those two.
I believe it's Jack Johnson.
Jake.
Johnson.
Jake Johnson.
Who's the musician? Is Jack Johnson the musician?
I think so.
What? Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Johnsons.
The Johnsons.
The Zooey Deschanel's boyfriend from The New Girl. That guy.
That's
Drake
even
Bell.
worse. You'd never watch New Girl.
Okay.
Drake Bell. He was Ultimate Spider-Man in Across Spider-Verse.
There you go.
Not him.
Wait, was Drake Bell Ultimate? Is that true?
He
was on an animated series that was called Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's him. He's Ultimate Spider-Man.
Drake Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the new Ultimate Spider-Man, not the old one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Whatever.
Anyway,
Hollywood's weird.
Shortening it up here, guys. Yeah. But there's so anyway, Stars picked them up. They did the rare thing. Stars picked them up, and this is just one person's opinion. You get 3 months for $5 right now, so I think that's a deal worth it. I got Stars added to my thing so I could watch season 2. They changed up the dynamic. There's adding new characters. I think it's really, guys, if you haven't watched it yet, I think it's a show worth catching up. It's only 10 episodes, and then they did a double episode intro for season 2 to get everyone kind of up on what's essentially a soft reboot, honestly. Like, they've changed up a little bit. There's now like a wealthy investor who's interested in having her name disassociated from coal and oil and reassociated with feminist literature and adult entertainment. We get a fun car chase through 1970s LA and people who want to watch the film Deep Throat for the very first time. It's
nice.
It's a really fun show, and it is a show that I would say generally makes you laugh like oh, haha. But when it does catch you by surprise, and it will,
witty.
It's witty. It is a witty program.
It is the funny.
When the show really
A
catches
double
you by...
entendre, you say? Remember porn in the 70s?
No,
How you couldn't
yes.
just get it. You had to go somewhere and watch on a theater
There's-
with a bunch of other weirdos.
There's a cutaway gag that made me absolutely lose my life wherein
Does it just cut to someone jerking it in the library in the theater?
it's almost that good. It's almost that good.
It's almost that good. I should be a writer on this show. Is what
It's
There you go,
calling the distribution to find out why Deep Throat isn't in the box, and instead they have bread knobs and broomsticks, and to have someone and then have the distributor say, "Oh no, that sleepover's having a bad time," and then cut to 8 little girls just distraught, just close-up faces of very upset children.
Jesus.
Um,
Jesus Christ. All
what
right.
a show! What a time!
What a show. Yeah, okay. So I guess we'll go to spoilers for Barbie now.
Okay.
Thank you for joining this podcast. If you don't want to listen to spoilers of the podcast, I'll just do the small announcement now, which is, like you mentioned in the last podcast, these are the last 3 episodes of Storyteller Cast before we rebrand. I hate that I have to say it. Before it turns into something else, we don't know the name yet. We're going to decide that soon. It's going to be very structured. Well, not very. It's still going to have enough that we can loosely talk, but it's going to be one of those things where we take a piece of media and we actually analyze and talk about it in a structured format. So just going to be a little bit, they're going to be shorter, but they're not going to be 3-hour long. Podcasts are probably going to be closer to 2, maybe less.
Yeah.
But in exchange, what we're going to do is 2 episodes per month. With, talking about a new piece of media that we're going to let everyone know ahead of time in case they want to do it sort of book club style. And each episode will come on the 15th and the last day of the month, so sort of like bi-monthly. And if you don't, even if spoilers are that big of a deal that something you're not interested in listen, I would recommend, just because sometimes hearing people talk about it will let you know whether or not you want to watch it and all that. And it'll never be the same as just like actually experiencing the piece of media. As you yourself. But so that's that. So that means September will be our last episode.
Wow.
Get ready for that. I do have some special plans that I got to talk with Ian and Nika about, but it's gonna be a good episode.
Hard
Anyway,
to believe it's been 30 years, guys.
30.
Beautiful.
Yes.
30 years.
30 years.
Oh, beautiful years.
Before the USSR was dissolved. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right, y'all ready to talk Barbie?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, spoilers for the rest of the podcast for Barbie spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can't believe they blew up the Bikini Atoll.
Yeah.
Right?
Shit was cray-cray.
Ridiculous.
Good night, everybody.
I do want to say one thing about the Barbenheimer as a double feature.
Yeah.
I do think
okay, so for those who don't know, Ian actually did the double feature. Nick and I did not.
Yeah. I on a weekend went to do I went to do Oppenheimer in the late morning, and then I did Barbie in the afternoon.
Did you get that burger and cocktail like you said you would, or?
I ended up not getting a big elaborate thing. We went down to have an ice cream, and then I was like, yeah, this I'm not committing to sit down somewhere if I have to run and do all that.
And then
then
you're just dragging ass
yeah, exactly,
because you're full
exactly.
from alcohol, bread, and meat.
And I liked that so much. I went with a different person to the movies, and I watched it on Wednesday, I think. So I've seen Barbie 2 times now.
Okay, but did you see Oppenheimer 2 times?
Fuck no, I'm not fucking. No. If you want to know about Oppenheimer, all I have to say is he learns the meaning of love, and that's the
Through
real
22
point.
minutes of sex only Nolan could direct.
Yeah. It's Memento.
Okay,
2.
can I at least? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
No, I was making a joke of it's Memento 2.
It's called Memento 2.
Memento 2.
Here we go again.
Is the sex scene as big of a deal as people are making it out, or as they made it out to be in the marketing?
Or did they undersell it? I need to know now. My pants are,
so tight. Yeah, it's fine. It's
serviceable.
No, because my takeaway from Oppenheimer as a movie was just like, oh well, that's someone who. It's what we talked about. The Nolans. We weren't recording. I think that was just you and me talking.
Yeah, I think that was me and you.
The Nolans are just like, they're very competent, but their ethos is like negative. It's negative emotions,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just little dolls that put in the spot, say the thing. Put in the spot, plane crash. And then we put the spot and
cry more. Cry harder.
More. Space.
Mm-hmm.
Which I still argue those characters have emotions despite Nolan because they're phenomenal actors.
So should we talk about the nominal plot of Barbie and then kind of pick it apart? Because I do have.
I want to talk about how much I don't like Nolan.
But yeah, it's a good spoiler cast, man.
It's a good spoiler. Yeah, let's talk about the nominal plot for Barbie. Because I knew nothing about the movie before going in. Because I was just very much, I don't know what this movie would be if I made it. No clue. Nada what I thought it was going to be. You want to start off with the nominal plot?
Sure. So the nominal plot of the film takes place in kind of an imaginary space of Barbie Land, which is adjacent to Los Angeles, California, geographically.
No, it is not. It is not adjacent. They must travel through fucking car,
the desert, an ocean on a jet ski,
the ocean, mountains via jet ski. Oh no, space. We forgot space. There's a spaceship. You must go into orbit at some point, or out of orbit. And then rollerblading, and then you end up in Venice.
Yes, you end up in Venice Beach.
Yeah.
So Barbie Land is, I would describe it as like it's a manifestation of the. Oh my god, I'm gonna sound like such a jerk off describing this movie. I just realized.
Yeah.
Barbie Land is the collective unconscious of all young girls playing with their Barbies at the same time, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the shared imaginary space that all Barbies inhabit.
Yeah.
And the movie makes a point to point out that like Issa Rae is as much Barbie as Margot Robbie is Barbie. They're
all Barbie.
They're doing different versions of Barbie.
Yeah. It's like, Ian, it's like how each Barbie is a Barbie. That you play with. That's a Barbie. It's a Barbie.
That is a Barbie.
They're all Kens. It's all Ken.
All
Ken
Barbie.
Time.
Unless it's Alan or Midge.
It's Alan or Midge. Yo, I didn't know about Midge.
Yeah.
And then when they show in the end credits what that doll was, and I was horrified.
Oh, because its stomach pops open. It
pops open. Fetus. There's a little baby in there. There's a little fetus you can yank out.
Yep.
And it's a second doll, and I'm like, no, that's why would you? Why did you do that? No, I am a child. I do not want to know.
So, we established very early on that Ken is super dependent on approval and attention from Barbie. That's basically all
Yes.
he's there for.
Which, if I heard correctly, is based off there's Barbie lore.
Mhm.
That is how Ken is.
Yes.
Ken worships the ground like Barbie walks upon, type deal.
Yes. And Barbie, classic, what do they call her? Stereotypical Barbie?
Stereotypical Barbie.
Stereotypical Barbie.
I like
is
Barbie
starting-
numero uno, but no one that didn't seem to catch on, so
Huh.
wonder why.
So Barbie Blondie is starting to behave in an unusual way that is not
Yes.
very Barbie.
It's not Barbie. It's not very
Barbie is grace. Barbie is style. Barbie is
Barbie's
elegance. When they would say that's not Barbie, it did make me think of Donald Glover doing the Barbie sketch on Saturday. Anyway, long story short, she starts behaving so peculiarly that she decides she's directed by weird Barbie to venture to the real world. She ventures to the real world with Ken and goes to the Mattel headquarters, which is in LA.
Yeah.
And she meets Will Ferrell, who's the CEO of Mattel.
Yeah.
Who explains...
Which, by the way, that's not... I don't think that's the Mattel... It might be the Mattel building now. But fun fact of trivia, our mom used to work in that building.
Really?
For a small period of time, yeah. It's the Commerce building.
Oh, wow.
Or Century City. Century City building. And...
I witnessed...
Oh, go ahead.
I was doing the quote of, I saw a beautiful world that was perfect. Century City. It wasn't perfect, Ken. It was not even no.
So Century City, yeah. So the Century City, Century City building, which there's a joke for people who work there, which was the conference room does not face the water; it faces the city, and the CEO's office faces the water.
Yeah,
for obvious reasons, so the employees don't get distracted by the water, but the CEO can have this water. Which really, that's just power dynamics right there.
That's
feel
right.
it.
That's right, guys.
You're right. But they meet Will Ferrell. They gotta put her back in the box.
Put her back in the box, and she then determines that she's going to go out and meet the young lady who's playing with her through this sadness. And she finds a young girl who's at a middle school, and it turns out that girl is a mean girl, and she makes Barbie cry. And by the way, guys, here's where I'll mention my favorite joke of the movie was the little girl being an extra 13-year-old calls Barbie, calls her out for all the ways in which Barbie sets unrealistic standards for young girls physically, all these kinds of expectations, and calls her a fascist.
Yeah.
And Barbie's immediate response was, but I don't own railways or the means of producing capital. And I don't know why it made me laugh so hard when... Anyway. We then find out that Ken is very quickly realizing that our world is nothing like Barbie Land.
No.
And, something called patriarchy exists, and it's awesome if you're a dude.
If you're a guy, if you're a beautiful white man, or even not that beautiful white man, if you're just old as a man,
and I mean, we can unpack. I want to unpack more about that storyline because it actually kind of interests me a lot. But Ken goes through a bunch of, can I be a doctor? And being told, well, listen, you still technically do have to do something. We can't just let this beautiful man be a doctor. But then also all of the men that he confers with basically say, but I mean, it's just a formality, really. If I had the choice, I'd definitely give you a job for no reason. Absolutely.
No, just fuck it.
Yeah.
We hide. What's the line? Is we hide it better now?
We hide it better now. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be smart.
You're doing patriarchy bad. No,
Yeah.
Ken. Just hide it better.
Which always reminds me of. I mean, it's a thing that's pretty well known for people who are like trying. We're trying to explore these areas and everything. But Patton Oswalt has a great bit that really just distills it in a sense of it's the most evil people and the ones who are trying to let this evil shit keep happening are gonna learn the terminology day one.
Yeah.
So they can use it against you. So they're gonna sound like they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Versus like someone who knows right from wrong.
Yes.
Type deal.
Yeah. True.
Great bit. It's one of his later it's one of his I don't know if it's his latest stand up or the one before. It's a great bit.
It's the one where he's saying like if someone has the bad terminology but a good position, I think that person's like, and I agree with that sentiment. Like, it's it is a very funny bit. It is. Really
it also tackles the thing of like, people with Southern accents are always looked down upon for whatever.
Yes.
Like it's always sounds, which is awful. That's just not true.
Yes.
It's just regional dialect, but like, yeah.
But anyway, so I'll wrap it up with the explanation of the plot. I'm sorry.
You're actually doing a really good job. I feel like you're hitting all the parts for it.
Oh, sweet. So what then happens is Ken goes back to Barbie Land on his own.
Yeah.
Barbie then finds out that the teenage girl's mother, who works for Mattel, is in fact dealing with the dread of her daughter growing apart from her.
Yeah.
Through Barbie.
Which, by the way, I saw that twist coming like a mile away.
Yeah. Yeah.
The minute, even just the moment, and it's like confirmed, the moment you see the person outside of Will Ferrell's, the secretary, which is her mother, you go, oh, that's who it is.
Yeah.
I don't even need, they haven't even said that's the mother, or anything. I just know that's who that is.
But they then get back to Barbie Land to find that all the Kens have usurped the Barbie's powers, and have created, a patriarchy that dominates women and has actually convinced most of the women that they're more happy serving the men in their lives rather than doing what they were doing before. Like one of them dresses as a maid and pours beers for everyone, and says
it's like 2 or 3 of them. Yeah, dress up as a maid. Yeah,
it's like a spa for my brain. We then get the resolution that Alan is one of the characters who helps the real people come together, and they. I think the point that changes is America Ferrera then gets a monologue that starts to basically undo the programming of this belief that they brought,
which is very much like just talking about the hypocrisies and just how difficult it is because you're always walking a tight line.
It's there's never a right place for you. It's
no matter what you do.
Yeah. As hey, if you guys liked the 90s bitch novel that I pitched to you guys earlier, you're either too sexy or not sexy enough, or you're too difficult or too passive, or you're
It's literally like they address it in the movie. They want like the whole thing of like the ideal woman in that sense, if we're following that line of logic, is a doll. It's just it's an inanimate object.
An object, exactly. And I can't wait to talk more about it. Oh my god, the theming of this. So, jump ahead to the Barbies then enact a plan to make sure that the Kens will be too distracted
with war
to change the constitution of the country in a way that would damage all their rights. because this movie is subtle as shit. I want to talk about it so bad. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And we then at the end of the film sit with kind of the question of, okay, so what is Barbie for children today?
Yeah, for people
what is
today.
what is the point of this thing now still?
Yeah.
And I'd say that's kind of the main idea that we end the film on.
Well, that and the existential thing of it's pretty cool to be human, like to be imperfect, and it's I mean that's the, if I had to give even a simpler thing, like the idea is to be with flaws is the most beautiful thing. So that means you're human, you've experienced all these things, and that we should celebrate people who are going through tough times and like that, because that is the most human. That is an incredibly human experience. Like, is just always, there's always stress or something like that, but you're going through it and you're helping others. If you're a mother, you're raising children, because they address like make a mother Barbie specifically. And there's that whole thing of mothers in it, which I felt like was also a combination of reflecting the thoughts of the mom, American Ferrera, but more or less the idea is you're, even with flaws, you are still beautiful, type thing.
Well, yeah, and there's that scene where
with
Barbie,
the old lady.
Yes, exactly.
At the park.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which I was like, well, you can't be more on the nose than that. But it's still like beautiful, like a really good scene.
Well, and I mean, that was kind of like the first thought that I had when I walked out. When I walked out of the theater, the first time I was like, that movie was so on the nose.
Absolutely.
The whole time, though. The whole time.
There's no, there's no. I mean, there's more existential subtext, right? In the way they do shots. But if you want to get to what the movie's about, then it's super.
I mean, the subtext is text. It is said directly out loud, like this. No, this is what the movie is about.
But yeah, so would you wanna? Because my brain's a little fried, so I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Sure.
Start with the themes. Did you want to start like by asking questions, or possibly we go around talking about our favorite parts of the movie?
Sure, and then we can kind of get into the bigger ideas of the because it does touch on a lot, guys. So
okay, Nick, do you want to start that off, or do you want Ian to start that off?
Ian can start off.
Yeah, Ian sounds like he's like gonna explode with in a good way. Honestly,
no.
You need that energy.
I mean, well, we didn't mention. There's a handful of stuff we didn't get to talk about, but I think one of the scenes that hit me that we should probably touch on. It's like one of the first breaks from just. This movie is pretty relentless with jokes. It's very funny and it's very joke dense.
Which we'll get to. I have a little thing on the structure of writing. We'll get to when I talk about it, but go ahead.
After we get this great sequence it's almost like a choreograph. It's not quite a dance sequence, but it's shot like very unusually, where Barbie runs out of the Mattel building up and down all these corridors and all that.
Oh, it's like a fucking 90s chase scene where it's almost like a Benny Hill music could start playing.
Exactly.
Oh, you mean in the offices or outside?
In the offices, because because that comes just before we get this shot of Barbie running from all these men in suits, and she just appears in like an older woman's kitchen nook. Ruth's, the
creator of Barbie. Yeah,
and they just sit down, and that's kind of like one of the first threads where we start to actually talk directly about like. What is the identity of Barbie? Like, what is the identity of being I mean,
what's it mean to be me?
What? Yes, exactly. But I don't know. I think that's that scene, and then the ending scene of the movie.
Why did they keep her there?
Well, they remember that Will Ferrell specifically says, "Yeah, we've got the ghost of Barbie's creator on the 17th floor. She keeps an office in the building."
But it's such a weird fucking. It's an office meant to look like a dream. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's meant
because it's
to look like a flashback to like the South during dusk. It's a very comforting little nook. Like,
yeah. But it's
Uh,
also like she's walking onto a set, so it reminds me of like a movie in that sense. So I was wondering if it was like a hark back to just how movies work, but
I mean,
and I'll get to why I had that thought later, but I don't think that's what that is.
I mean, you could make that argument. I mean, the film is very concerned about the performance of identity and like what things do you do, what things do you keep, what language do you oh my god, this movie has so many avenues for that. Like, I mean,
it's also Ruth's most comfortable spot. Like, she modeled it. She said, I write best at a table, or I design best and work best at a kitchen table. So it's her, presumably, where she designed Barbie.
Exactly. And we get the backstory of I named you after Barbara, my daughter, etc., etc.
No, I think it's the opposite. I think she named her daughter after Barbie.
Really? Oh my gosh.
I think that's the line.
Okay.
Well, time to go back and watch just to get to that spot and go.
Time to go for a 3-fer, guys.
Yeah. I do want to watch this movie again, so that's like probably the highest compliment I could get for me personally. But
it's crazy just because like the movie has so many lines that I'm just like, oh, I've got to catch all of this. This is all good material.
Absolutely.
I don't know. So that was one scene that kind of stuck out to me as just being like a really well acted scene in the middle of a movie that is like, oh, actually, I'll get my gripes out of the way because I only have 2 and they're not big, truthfully. One is I would say my biggest gripe is Ken has 3 songs back to back at one point in this movie. It's basically Ken singing for 3 songs in a row. Why did they let that happen? Why?
So are you talking about? So is it the war? See the beach raid.
There's the big like dance and musical number with all the Kens when they fight at the beach. Before that, there is what's that?
Well, then the Grease dance number, but
then the Grease dance number, and then before that, they all play guitar for Barbie at the beach.
Oh, and they sing that Sam Smith song.
That's right.
Which, by the way, I had never listened to Sam Smith because I just don't care about country, or at least modern country.
Yeah.
Not saying he's bad or anything, just don't listen. And I knew he was popular. And because the movie primes you with listening to lyrics at the beginning, because they start changing to reflect what's going on. By the way, that opening musical number is fucking fantastic.
Yes.
I'm listening to the lyrics and I'm like, holy fucking shit, this song's awful. Like, one, it's not, and I don't even just mean that the lyrics are super misogynistic.
Right.
I mean, like, I think it's actually badly put together. Like, it's oh man, that song's wild. That shit was popular. What are y'all, fucking nuts? Like, oh.
It was a different time, guys.
I guess so. How long ago was
that? The 90s. It was the 90s.
Was it really? No, shut up. Shut up, man. I feel like that was way fucking sooner. Go, keep going. I'm gonna look this shit up.
But then I think Ken, like stereotypical Ken, sings to stereotypical Barbie when she finds that her dream house is now his Mojo Dojo Casa
Mojo
house?
Dojo.
Casa house.
It's, oh my god, it's like Mojo Dojo Ranch. So it's something really funny. It's stupid.
And then we cut to the Mattel shipping dock. The Mojo Dojo Casa houses are really selling.
Mojo Dojo Casa House. Yeah, that's it. It's selling really well.
It's selling really well, guys, and it's already going to be a movie. But yeah, that I'd say that, and then I'd say that would probably be my main gripe with the movie. It felt kind of like pacing-wise, kind of odd to have 3 scenes back to back wherein like our main Ken is singing. And it doesn't come up again otherwise, but it's a small one. Other than that, yeah.
I think it's supposed to reflect like. I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. But I think the choice there, unless it's straight up just to let Ryan Gosling sing more, which is he actually singing in that?
I think he is. Yeah.
If so, he's got pipes. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's that you're getting lost in that song, right? To notice how they, because the Barbies are there at the beginning to push that, right?
Right.
But then once they're in it and they're distracted with their own conflict and themselves, it's all them.
Right.
And you are too as an audience. Like absorbed into it and being like, yeah, while this was going on, we voted. All that because you were super into the spectacle, the war, the dance off, these men just fighting.
Screaming.
And then like getting over their fighting because like, you know, when men fight, we love each other at the after the thing. I think it's to reflect that.
Okay. I can see that.
And I think it's Tomoji. And the reason I think that's like a deliberate choice is one of the reasons I love this movie is I think this is a tightly fucking written movie. I think this thing's amazingly written, especially the first like 20 to 30 minutes are just everything. Just go fucking every line leads into the next. It's all it all has weight and everything to explain this world and characters super quickly. And it's not until you get into the real world that there are these little bit more longer contemplative pauses between characters or dialogue to kind of reflect the state that Barbie's in right now. And that's a little bit more contemplative. It's not all set. It's not all making out, but each line is still well chosen and all that. But it's to get a little bit more chaotic and to reflect the pacing of the film.
Messier.
And which I think you get because Greta Gerwig directed and wrote this with. She wrote it with Noah Baumbach. I had to double check that.
Oh, he's an excellent screenwriter, you guys. Excellent screenwriter.
Okay.
So, but tying the directing and the writing together like that, like each working off and feeding off each other, I think this movie does stupid well. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Without getting too much into how I think this movie is, but so that's why I think they're doing the 3 musical numbers.
Okay.
If I had to give a thing, I could be wrong.
Could be. Well, how about Nick? Why don't you jump in? What scene kind of stood out to you? What have you been thinking about with this movie?
You know, because there's, I guess, like there's between what I think was the funniest scene versus what I think was like overall my favorite. Because to me, the funniest scene was like the hard cut to the Barbie advertisements for existential Barbie and
excellent
Barbie, which I missed. I had to go to the bathroom.
It was it was really.
She wears the same sweat clothes all the time.
Yeah,
I was so mad when Nick explained to me what that scene was.
It was pretty good.
That one's really good. I mean, yeah, you know the fight on the beach, storming the beach was awesome.
Sure.
Yeah, musical number cut to that was incredible. Yeah, I know it's probably just I guess for me my favorite would be just everything with the final scene with Barbie and the founder of Barbie,
Ruth. Yeah.
Ruth, yeah. Yeah, I think it's just how well everything ties together.
I mean, you're right. You guys are right. It's such a tight movie. It is a little swatch of filmmaking, I would say. Definitely.
Absolutely. I'm still looking at the "Man I Am" is the song written by Sam Smith, Mark Ronson, Ricky Reed. "Man I Am." What were you all on that shit was Unless it's supposed to be ironic, and maybe I'm missing it, but
Yeah, there's like a little ironic. Stress
maybe
to
there
it.
is. I haven't listened to the original.
Sure.
Release. When did it come out? Oh, is it brand new?
Made for the movie, maybe.
Oh, then I'm the idiot because it was probably made to like sound terrible.
That's probably what it was.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because I was also
So-
like, wow, it sounds terrible. But no, so it's all to make it just the most bro-y, like, I learned a couple chords on the guitar type deal.
closing my eyes and say-
Which
That
Nick and I
song.
both play guitar, so we've met a million of those dudes.
Yeah.
It's actually very discouraging when you
I used to be one of them.
when you really care about playing guitar. Because you're like, I don't want to be that.
I was
not what
like
I
that.
wanna
Don't
do.
be that.
Well, so let me ask about the some of the themes of the movie.
Yeah.
We can start early on. How about there's a handful of characters that are outliers in Barbie Land and they all basically live with weird Barbie.
Yeah. Sugar
it's-
Daddy.
Sugar's daddy.
Sugar's Daddy.
Sugar's
Crazy.
daddy and
It's crazy. That shit's crazy.
and Rave Ken or whatever.
Yeah, it was Disco Ken. Yeah, whatever the fuck.
But
I like that dog that poops.
I remember
What's up
that
with
dog.
What's
I
up with
remember that.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's awful.
It's deeply unpleasant, and you have to fill it back up with shit so it keeps doing the thing.
Yeah.
Boy. But I don't know what I was going to say. For as far as like themes of the movie, it was interesting just to see like the arc between how the Kens relate to Barbie and how the outlying Barbie characters relate to the Barbies after this film. Once they kind of like restructure things a little bit, because I think at the end of the movie they're like, yes, we're going to make some changes so that Barbie Land is a little more fair. So from now on, the Kens will get just as much power as women have in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah. This I think one of the things I've been thinking about as far as theme is like Ken's character is ultimately an exploration of how like the worst parts of masculinity are bad for the men who have to live through it too.
Yeah.
It's like it's making his life more
worst.
miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's this ironically enough, it's this drowning in the sea of just stuff and things that you have to buy and that like make you feel like a man. Rather than own internal thing. It's all these it's all this just taking in of external, like not just materials, but like ideas like that have to come from outside yourself.
Ideas and because
relationships.
I think a big part of it, and it's they played it so goddamn well. Like Ken keeps trying to kiss her when she talks to him afterward. And she has to keep explaining, like, no, really, I'm not attracted to you, but I'm just a nice person, like, etc. But the idea that for Ken, obviously, and the movie hangs a lampshade on it. The obvious conclusion for him is to marry Barbie, to have her commit to commit.
Will
to
Ferrell
him.
says it outright, like,
yes. Why don't you get married, and that'll be the resolution to this. Yeah. Story, but the thing so like that's obviously a bad idea. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I just want to bring up real quick for literary nerds, comedies end in weddings. It's the Shakespeare thing. It's how it starts out. Tragedies end in death. Comedies always end in a wedding. Yep. Which Love even wins. Shakespeare took a spear to in Taming of the Shrew. So
yes, true. That is true.
story structure nerd
Story
shit.
structure. Got it.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just to say that so like it's obviously a bad idea for Barbie. Like
Yes.
we all get that. But like if you actually think about what Ken has gone through and what he's been talking about, it would be devastating for him, and that's what Barbie has to explain to him is like, you have no identity outside of me.
No.
And the problem is you have to do the work to figure out what that is.
Yeah.
You can't keep looking, and
they're suffering the same problem, just in different ways. Like,
and to be able to, and for the movie to be able to so succinctly, I think, like, expose in a mirror to a lot of men why they resent women so much.
Yeah.
As, why isn't this woman giving me the validation of identity that I need?
Yeah.
You're making me being a man harder.
Yeah, because as a man, it's got to come from someone else.
Yeah.
I cannot be happy with myself.
Exactly.
I can never do that. That's like, you're always supposed to be angry on that level. You're only supposed to be loving towards a woman. If that's like, if we're going for full like misogyny there.
Yes.
But, man.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that like, there's I will also say that like they have a Barbie, a Ken that seems to be like not coded as straight, who can also be shitty and terrible and involved with the patriarchy. So that like they cover their bases, guys. Alan and then the idea that like Alan is like, the reason I think that Alan fits into that story the way he does is he's not conventionally masculine. No. He's not Ken. And so that allows him enough distance from that situation to like understand things a little bit differently, I guess.
Yeah, understand the bigger picture of what's going on here.
Yeah.
Versus just, you're so focused on yourself. Because you can't find, like we said, that validation. And you need to fill that like with something, because that's the only way. It's the only way. You're not a whole man, type thing.
Yeah.
No, it's great. Like, oh well, let's keep talking about that, because the things I want to talk about, I don't think we'll touch on too many themes other than the existential ones.
Okay.
Versus, I think I like your read of the movie a lot. Versus mine, because mine seems like so much me, if that makes sense, in the sense of identity and just figuring out that, like, you know, things are like, things with flaws are beautiful, like, type deal. The whole weird Barbie and all that. Just her final conclusion is, I think, fantastic. And even not falling into the trap of people who want to be like a mom or an aunt or a daughter, or like whatever they like want to be, are not problems.
No. The problem is prescription. That's the problem.
You should be allowed to be what you want in that. Being a mother is not a death sentence. It's like, if you choose to do that and you're making that choice, that's a tough path. That is not an easy feat, like, at all. So that is not something that should be just considered an evil.
Yeah.
Which had me thinking, if that was like the Barbie thing, being like, they're not necessarily like it's gonna be the idea. Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting a little lost there, but I'm trying to make that connection. But
let me jump in and add to that. Just to say that, like, this movie has so many nuanced takes in just throwaway lines.
Yeah, it really does.
That's
why I want to watch it again. Like,
and here's a high compliment I have for the movie is, it manages to do things that are legitimate laugh out loud funny jokes that are also thematic.
I think
and
it's so dumb what I laughed at really hard.
What did you laugh at in this
Nick,
point?
do you want to tell them why I laughed at, or do you want me to say?
Go for it, because there's a couple times.
There was a couple times. You know, fair enough. When Ken hits the plastic in that surfboard and flies, like he's on wires.
Yes.
Or even looks like they may have laid him down on top of a green screen.
And then just turn the camera a few times.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought that was shot so fucking well for looking like that. Yeah. I couldn't stop. I thought it was so fucking funny. I think I was the only one laughing that hard in the movie theater. And that just goes to show slapstick's always going to get me, no matter how fucking old I am. And that's what. Listen, man, at the beginning of this podcast, you want to talk about the podcast coming to an end? I was saying it towards the beginning, slapstick's coming back. Here we are. Here we are. Fucking called it.
There's a line in it where Margot Robbie is like breaking down.
Oh, oh god.
It's the Helen Mirren line. Yeah, that's right. It's the
not pretty anymore.
I'm not I don't look like stereotypical Barbie.
Yeah.
And then Helen Mirren saying, "You really shouldn't cast Margot Robbie if you want that line to land."
Yeah, note to the filmmakers if you want this line to make sense. Which is really funny.
Great.
No, it's so you want to talk about more about the themes, or
sure?
Yeah. Because what I want to talk about the movie is more like a little bit of structure and like.
Oh, let's talk about structure. I mean, like, okay. I think that thematically it kind of hit on so many different ideas of what feminism is, and I think my biggest compliment to the movie, outside of its humor, outside of its writing, outside of its acting, the fact that it made a movie that actually pretty concisely explained some of the tenet ideas of what feminism actually is. And I say this as someone who sees like so many people out in the world who are saying like wild stuff and saying like, this is what feminism is about.
Yeah.
The fact that there's a movie that has like a relatively middle ground, but truthful depiction of it is like, oh, cool, this is great,
Yeah. Which, by the way, all, if it doesn't need to be said, but I feel like I'm gonna say it anyway. We're all dudes here, like,
yes.
So take our things with a little bit of grain of salt here. We're not gonna. There's no way in hell we could actually fully understand. There's no possible way.
Yeah.
Even no matter how hard we try, and we try hard.
Very.
So
very
just take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
As you should with anything, honestly. Like, you should be constantly looking up stuff, but whatever. So the way I've been describing this movie to people is, I think I saw it said on Twitter too, is I recommend this movie to anyone who watches way too many movies. To anyone who loves movies, like cinephiles. Or even just watches too many, because this is everything. The set designs are 10 out of 10. The costuming's 10 out of 10. The music choices are 10 out of 10 and evolve with and feed into the story along with everything else. And the writing, the directing's amazing. The shots are so fucking good. Going from both comedy to these beautiful introspective, like, just shots of people being people and like reflecting the existential thoughts of characters and creating quiet moments within comedy chaos.
Yeah.
And it's so, and like I mentioned before, those first 30 minutes are so fucking tightly written. It's amazing. Like, the more I think about it, just how everything goes into each other, and it's funny too. And while still also being quote unquote while still being really well written, gets a little bit looser to reflect the more chaotic parts that Barbie's experiencing.
Yeah.
And all that. And then going back to the chaos And then just like even the musical numbers are fantastic. The beach scene is so fucking cool. Like
Yeah.
and then just all these people moving slowly on purpose, which adds to the comedy and the camp of like the Kens. Oh my god, and the fucking when Ken versus Ken and Ken comes off on like whirling that fucking whatever that goddamn like what is this streamer? While all the other Kens are carrying him like a war chariot.
Yeah.
It was so fucking funny to me, like how that's shot, and then how their fight is turned into the Grease dance-off number, almost 1-to-1, which is nuts.
I think they literally have a shot where they do the sharks and they're in white t-shirts.
Oh, they do. Yeah. And then it's like supposed to be reflective of Grease and Dirty Dancing and all these dance-off battles, which were these weird like things in 80s and 70s movies, and even 90s, where it's like you can't have real violence without turning to rated R. These men fight, so these men are gonna fight through dance.
Yeah.
And it's weird because dance is also considered very feminine at that time. That's just how it was.
Yes.
For worse, obviously, but like, so it's this weird like showing masculinity while being like showing a feminine trait. And that kind of fight, and then that transitioning into them being just bros, like arms around each other, going, "Ah, you know, that was a good punch you did," all that, and just dissect, like breaking down just how like that masculinity that's shown in movies all the time, and just how fucking weird that is. Like, like we were so close to just having. I'm actually shocked, unless maybe I'm just forgetting that there's no scene like the Rocky running on the beach scene, or like because we get the volleyball kind of from Top Gun.
Yeah, we get some Top Gun. Yeah,
you know that scene. There's got to be a word for it where like I think we talked about this before, Ian, where it's like they're doing something so masculine that it becomes like
gay.
homoerotic.
Yeah.
That you're watching this and you go, Jesus Christ! Like you're.
There's one aspect of that I was thinking about during, and it plays into the what was it, Kendom part of the movie.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, when you're looking at a bunch of dudes who are like full blown like misogyn, really into that kind of like anti-women viewpoint, you get to the point where you can't value a relationship with a woman, so the only relationships you give a shit about are your dude friends. And so, you know, you maybe you're sleeping with your girlfriend, but you don't talk to her, you don't have a connection emotionally.
No. What was the term that's really great? Low committal.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't live...
commitment.
Yeah,
semi what was it?
Semi-resident, like
girl yeah, something like
girlfriend.
that.
It's such a good it's a really just spot on like title.
Yep.
That you're like, yeah, man, that's the horrible thing men like a lot of dudes seem to want. Hey.
But like in those scenes where they're all broing out, like the idea being that like, well, that's the closest that they are with anybody, and in masculinity, that's the only people they
till they're literally swinging and dancing with each other.
Yes, exactly. So well spotted. Yeah, I agree. It's yeah, man. You're right.
Oh yeah. This comes from, again, someone who watches way too many fucking movies.
The beach scene does make me, for a second, think about Hail Caesar and the. Did you guys see Hail Caesar? Yeah.
I didn't even.
No dames. Yeah.
No dames, dude.
No dames.
I wonder, because Greta Gerwig is obviously a big fan of movies. Like, watching this, there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Well, the 2001 reference we didn't even mention, guys. Like,
oh god, Yeah, the intro to the
Mhm.
movie
The intro is the intro from 2001.
is 2001, straight up. But it's also like this thing of it addresses that when Barbie did come out, that's what little girls looked up to, started messing around with, and like would
And the
become an
idea
image.
The dolls were always there to project the little girls'
What to do?
identities, to
Yes.
play out like, what am I going to be? But the thing was, well, you're going to be a mother. That's the only
You're
thing
gonna be
you
a
could have
mother.
been.
You're gonna iron. You're gonna do. That's what it is.
You're going to cook food for baby, and that's what you're going to do. Yeah.
Food for baby.
And
Isn't that
then
fun? Aren't you having fun? You made a toy.
Forget that. And then we made Barbie an astronaut. You could be an astronaut, girls.
Yeah, and no. So, I didn't even talk about the acting. The acting's like top notch too. This may be my favorite performance from Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie. I didn't it clicked with both those movies. Both of them have great comedic timing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize well, that they've been in other stuff too, but this really cemented. I'm like, oh yeah, they're funny too. And doesn't that make you kind of angry? That
yes, yeah.
That thing of they're just perfect, but maybe that's reflective of Barbie and Ken. They look good. They're funny. They can sing.
I'm gonna direct a question I've got about the movie to Nick first. So Chris, you can think about what you might want.
Yeah, I want to hear Nick's opinions on this too.
Nick, what did you think about the closing joke of the movie? If you remember, I can remind you if you need a reminder of the closing joke.
Yeah, you can remind me.
Yeah. That's right.
That's when you know you're a woman.
Yeah,
that's when you know. That's when you know, guys.
That's pretty great.
It's like when you, oh man, it's gonna happen soon. I'm about to hit 30. When you get the rectal exam, because just cancer can happen at any time.
Old man oncologist is coming. Yeah,
it's gonna happen. Never mind that I had a beard at 15, but
oh man,
I feel like I can never emphasize this enough. I've looked like this
the whole time.
The whole time. The beard wasn't as long. I've just recently decided to let it really grow long. The whole time. Because I like it. I liked it more than my baby face. I had a real bad baby face. I have no clue what's under here anymore.
I don't even have a guess to hazard. I had no idea. Huh.
One day. I feel like I'm worried about my chin. Would my chin work?
One day you're gonna confess that you had alopecia the whole time. This was
and I have a little what's it guado growing in here. Ready to speak, ready to talk, ready to sing. Ready to love. But
this is the Gremlins.
What?
I was implying that your Guado would make the Gremlin singing voice.
It would be that. But yeah, Nick. So what were some of your favorite parts of this movie?
Well, I mean, we kind of talked about some of the key points with it. The final scene is great. I mean, it's again, really it's going off of the first joke of them being smooth down there.
Yes,
that was pretty good.
Wow, hang on, that didn't even click for me.
That's what the call.
Fuck! I thought it was just a funny thing about being. I totally forgot. Yeah, because it would be smooth, and now that she's a woman, I have to find out how that shit works.
At one point, Barbie says to some strangers, "Oh, I just have a mound down there." And
it's to the fucking.
I got all that stuff.
It's to the fucking construction workers on Venice Beach who are just looking at a hole. Which, by the way, that shit's totally fucking real. Those people, you'll just find 4 dudes staring at a hole, like
True.
on their lunch thing. Venice Beach is both cool and the worst place to be. So don't. If you live in California,
it kind of is.
You do it once and you're like, yeah, I'm good. Got it. No, I know they have shops. I can go. There's other places in LA I can go to. I don't want to pay $50 for parking.
This place has got like really angry turtles. You got it.
Really angry. There's dudes just roided up, just in the sun, just fucking shredding and just looking at you with all the judgment in the world.
Don't you want to listen to someone's ganja style remix rap tapes?
Don't you?
They're handing them out.
Hey man, don't you want to buy that CD?
Yep.
He signed it for you.
Signed it just for you, man.
It's
$25.
People skating all the time. The water's gross too. You don't even go in. If you actually walk into there.
I don't know if they're still doing it because it's been a minute since I went back to Venice. One of my least favorite, they would have people try and get you to Bill Maher's show. They would
dude.
When I would go, I
heard about that. That never happened to me, but that happened to some friends of mine.
When they talked to me, I got the impression that they couldn't give that shit away. They were like, "Are you sure? I mean, Bill's looking to fill." No, I'm not interested.
Yeah. No, I'm really not.
Like, I'm really not interested.
You don't want me in that audience.
I'm gonna say
that camera's gonna pan over, and it's just me going.
No, don't like it. No, bad.
You're a fucking prick.
He doesn't talk for me. He's not representing my view. Anyway,
I don't want that rich white dude telling me how I shouldn't behave myself.
I don't need anybody else telling Middle Eastern women how they should dress to fix things. Yeah. Anyway.
Man, fuck that dude. All right. Okay.
Anyway. Yes.
Enough shitting on places in California we live nearby. Because I feel like
not enough shitting on
anyone
Bill
who
Maher.
lives in LA. This is how you know someone who lives in LA. No one hates LA more than people who live in LA.
Absolutely true.
We can flaws up the wazoo. We can name hate it. Yeah. And yet I kind of like it, but I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Sucks. But I like it at some point. But I hate it now.
Where else in the world, gentlemen, do you get the glamour of Hollywood and human waste all in the same
people don't even
beautiful
fucking live there? I'm like, didn't grow up here. Whatever. Like, but yeah. So, well, Nick, let me ask you, what was your favorite joke? What was your favorite joke? Because we were both laughing pretty hard during that movie.
Well, I mean, there's the one you missed, and then the ones we saw together.
By the way, that's gonna haunt me.
You gotta go back.
Yeah. I mean, all the stuff with the Kens is always great. Like the whole the Mojo Dojo Concert House is great. Just trying to think of just the delivery of Will Ferrell with the pregnant Barbie, discontinued Barbie.
Midge.
I thought we recalled that.
No, you scared me. No.
Yeah.
So I didn't know this until I looked it up.
That dude who looked like Jack O'Brien that was always standing next to Will Ferrell.
I literally was convinced that was Jack O'Brien from Crack.com.
It was distracting.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys thought it was Jack too? I thought it looked a lot like.
He looks so much like Jack O'Brien. I'll look up if that's him. I'm sorry, Nick. Keep going.
I was gonna say I didn't know until I looked it up that the cubicles at Mattel on the first floor are supposed to look like from the movie Playtime, the French movie, because that's the exact same cubicle structure. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that either. Again, just more like movies, loving movies type thing.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just I don't know. It's tough because there's just so many great kind of what you were talking about of just constant like jokes, but also like the delivery of everything is just so well done. Yeah, just that. Who played the mom and the daughter were pretty great.
America Ferrera and yeah, what's the daughter's name again? Oh, I'll find it. I'll find it right now.
Yeah, Michael Cera as Alan is perfect.
Excellent.
Yeah. Michael Cera is right. He's, I think, about to break the not looking old thing.
Yeah.
He looks like he's right there.
Yeah.
Ariana Greenblatt is Sasha.
Okay. Yeah, that young actress was very talented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it feels like kind of coming to the end here. So you want to give our final thoughts on the movie, like if we liked it, how much we liked it. I assume we all liked it. It's gonna be hilarious if one of us goes, and that's why I didn't like it. And then
Yeah.
Also where this ranks in maybe movie of the year for you.
Oh, that's an interesting question.
I can go first.
Sure.
Before I go back to looking up the name. I love this movie. I thought this movie was so fucking good. Like, I can't wait to go see it again. Everything just clicks with me. It's a big thing we didn't talk about, but we can talk about. It's a bigger topic.
Mm-hmm.
The big hang up I have with this movie, the only one, is that it's a commercial.
Yeah.
And that kind of ruins a lot of things for me, only because of how I tend to see like cinema or like just media in general when it's like that. Because like it's all these messages, these really great analyzations and messages, but it's kind of the thing we talked about with Andor, how much I loved Andor, which is the really negative side of that is that they're not afraid to put that shit on screen anymore.
Yeah.
Which means, I mean, if we're being really generous and like optimistic, means that maybe people are more accepting of that. I don't think that is the case with executives. It's always going to be about like this movie would not have been made if they didn't think they can make money. Type.
Yeah.
It's a lot of just I'm not afraid because I'm gonna make money. The power's not there. Type deal. Now, granted, I want to try to be more optimistic about this kind of stuff. It could inspire people to really think about how we handle media and like different hierarchies where people are socially, and like existential thoughts. But there is always going to be that negative tinge to me of like, yeah, this is a big, big fucking movie that was really expensive to make. And just nothing. Weren't scared at all.
So let me ask you this, because I actually want to compare it to. I feel like this movie is comparable to Lego Movie.
Okay, I didn't even think about that. Okay, go for it.
It's an ad, and I think it's still a pretty good movie, though.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's it.
Man, I'm conflicted because I'll tell you what, I think this is so far my movie of the year.
No way, really?
I think I like it more than Across the Spider-Verse.
What? You're blowing my mind a little bit.
I enjoyed it more, like straight up in the theater. Also.
And I'm the Spider-Man guy.
Yeah, Nick liking it more than Spider-Man blew my mind.
Nick, you liked this more than Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Holy crap! Wow. I mean, wow.
Yeah, the thing about Spider-Man, because I talked about my problems with Spider-Man last time, is that I just don't think it's as tight of a package as the first one was, and the problem is it has to follow that first one.
Yeah.
And the first one's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really thought about that. And like, because I went out feeling like there's something that's just not sitting right with me with this movie, even though I really loved it.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's the fucked up thing of it's 9 out of 10 movie for me versus Into the Spider-Verse was like 11 on 10. It made me rethink how we can do animated movies.
Yeah.
That is not at all to say that movie isn't impressive. It actually very much is. It's a feat of animation.
Yeah.
Storytelling. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed this a lot more.
I mean, it's a joyful movie. It is a joyful movie, certainly.
Yeah. But I also like the existential message they have in this more than the Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Because Across the Spider-Verse, it is the thing of, no, I can change it. If we fight hard enough, fuck it. Which is fun and great for a superhero thing. But I think the message here in Barbie is a lot more realistic for how crazy Barbie is. And I know you're accepting the flaws are what make things beautiful. It's these awful things. Granted, Barbie's not going to have to save her dad from like a falling building, but like, but yeah, I think Barbie so far is my movie of the year. I would have to double check everything that came out this year. Granted, guys, I haven't seen a lot this year compared to last year, like type thing.
I've got a crazy quote to throw out just to build on what you just said, Chris. I think it's perfect. So I did see Radiant is the Blood of the Baboon. The final.
I gotta watch that, dude.
Yeah. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
That's the only other movie I think could do it for like. Death Clock movie's gonna come out.
A second Death Clock, yeah.
And I'm just gonna be like, Death Clock's fucking great. You guys are just, haters. But whatever.
So Ian, I had a question for that film that you recently watched. Is it true about it being like it's supposed to be? It was originally written to be a whole arc in Venture Bros, but then ended up being condensed into the film.
Yeah, it would have been season 8, but again, as a part of the Zaslav, gutting it basically got turned into the movie that they were promised.
Yeah.
Because they were going to do 8 seasons and a movie, and then it became just a flick. It's like an hour and 40-minute movie.
Wow, that's long. That's long for animation.
Wow.
It moves at a damn clip, guys, and it's really good.
Okay.
It is really good.
I'm excited.
The quote to share, the resonance and theme between these movies is strong. It is, young Dean, take a look here at this watch. You see these? These are called complications. And a complication just makes a watch more valuable. Kind of like people. A complication makes it more special and more valuable. So how's that for a pulling the themes together, guys?
You know what's fucked up is that I've watched Venture Bros, so I feel like that's gonna be like Thaddeus Venture or Dr. Venture, and it's just talking about how he gets more money, some more valuable watch or some shit. Which is really funny. No, I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited. I really am. I want to. Maybe I'll do it this before I go to Evo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So final thoughts before we head out because it's already in that time.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's a great movie. Like I said, I feel like I think it's actually better than the Lego movie just because it's like we said before here. It's more competently put together, like all the pieces work together amazingly. Set, costume, performance, choreography, the original music. It's but I would kind of categorize it in that realm, in that you're absolutely right, it's an ad, but damn it, I think that's about as good as an ad's ever gonna get.
Ever gonna be. Nick, final thoughts before we head out.
For a Barbie?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good ad. It made me cry. I like it.
What about Oppenheimer?
You know,
Oppenheimer.
it is what it is. I'm glad a British guy directed it, not an American guy, because we'll be like, yeah, we did that. Yeah, that was us. See that right there? Woo, that was us. Yeah.
Me, I'm not investing in nuclear. That's all I'm saying, guys. Sorry.
All right, now that we knocked out 2, Nick, but we still got a little bit of time. Nick, your final thoughts on the Baboon Heart?
On what?
The Venture Bros movie.
I haven't seen it.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
I haven't. It's a movie that's out, and maybe one day they'll make another season. Who knows?
No, that's crazy.
Now that's an uplifting thought, guys.
You are you are both delusional.
There's only hope. There's only but hope that keeps us alive.
Did you see they took down Adventure Bros off of Max?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the series, like the day the movie came on.
Yeah, because they've just released a complete collection that you can get.
They did.
A definitive.
I'll buy it.
It's so fucked. That's so fucked. He did. The director didn't even know. What's his name? Yeah.
Jackson Public.
Jackson Public. Yeah.
Anyway, Barbie's
on
good.
that happy note, Barbie's really good. You guys go watch Barbie.
Yeah. Totally.
Oh, I'm gonna watch. I'll go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying. Also, support the strike. One last thought.
Yes, absolutely. Support the strike. Okay. I'll probably do. I'll tell you what. If I saw Oppenheimer, I would not have given it a spoiler cast. I would have just been like, "Yeah, thing. I'm gonna watch."
What's to spoil? We know how it ends.
Dude. That's what I explained to someone at my work. I was like, "Here's the final nail in the coffin for why I'm gonna see Barbie instead of Oppenheimer," and I go, "I know how Oppenheimer ends.
Yeah.
Barbie, I have no fucking clue what that movie is about, and I didn't, and I was surprised, and I loved every bit of it."
I just wish that both of the big weekend movies didn't end with a nuclear holocaust. I think that was a weird choice.
That was a weird choice.
Whatever.
Brave.
Brave.
Truly brave.
Brave choice.
Mm.
Okay. Well, that'll be it. We'll see you all in the next episode. And that'll be the penultimate. Good night, everybody. Bye. I'll switch to the outro. There we go. Bye.
I think you're getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah, your first plan should be getting by us.
Though you call yourselves bladers, you don't know the real truth about bay blading. There is a tremendous power hidden within bays. Since ancient times, the existence of bays can be found in moments throughout history. The power of Beyblades have been used to change the course of rivers and oceans. They have been used to defeat many armies and create huge empires.
You wouldn't be so tough without that helmet, little brother.
You're on, Proto Man.
Plasma power!
Missed me again, number one, son.
But I won't miss this time.
Oh no! He's gonna blast President Lincoln!
Ha! I knew you'd risk yourself for Mr. Lincoln.
Simpson scandal update. Homer sleeps nude in an oxygen tent, which he believes gives him sexual powers.
Hey, that's a half-truth.
Shara, will you grant me one more wish? I wish for a mountain of handkerchiefs. Now, just let yourself cry, as much as you need to. You'll have plenty of handkerchiefs to help you through it.
Well, sir, treason season started early this year as a nuclear sub was hijacked by local man Homer Simpson.
Oh my God! I told him that photo would come back to haunt him.
Could Homer Simpson be a communist? His father spoke out on his behalf.
My Homer is not a communist. He may be a liar, a pig, an idiot, a communist, but he is not a porn star.
Hero call! This trap card lets me pick a monster and put him on the top of my deck. And I choose this. Elemental Hero, Neos. Not so fast. Thanks to my state select spell, he won't be there for long. Because now I get to shuffle your deck. So how do you like this? Bada bing! I'll shuffle these boys real good.
でも先輩結構みんなに優しいじゃん。なんか声かけてくれたりとか。でも香水もらったらなんかこんなんくれるって。嘘好きすぎやるのすっごい恥ずかしい。うわ明日バイトなんだけど。いつでもそこに。マジで
Iris.
Sarah.
Hang in there, Iris.
Please, stay away from Replophos. Let's live together. In a world where only Reploids exist.
Iris, there's no world just for Reploid. It's only a fantasy.
Yes, I know, but I wanted to believe it. I wanted to live in a world where only Reploids exist with you.
Iris! 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 Ah! No, this isn't happening! There's no reason for me to go on. What? What am I fighting for?
Now it's time for the Pizza Head Show.
Hey everybody, I'm done trick-or-treating and now I'm gonna go for a stuffed crust pizza at Pizza Hut. Yay!
Not yet, Pizza Head. There's one more place to go.
I don't think anyone's home.
Sure there is.
Hello, trick-or-treat! Interesting hieroglyphics on this pizza.
Quick, Pizza Head, let's go upstairs.
Hey, who is here anyway?
It's your host, Count Steve.
Oh, nice place. You gotta go. I wanna go to Pizza Hut now!
The Count will be happy to give you a lift.
Hey, put me down! Put me down!
See you next time.
I know a place that's peaceful and quiet. A place where animals play. It's called the forest, but every year we start forest fires. A careless match, a cigarette, and poof, fire. So the next time you're in the forest, be extra careful, okay?
If you knew it was me, would you have listened?
いつでもそこにマクドナルド。
Will you hold it down out there? You guys are always fighting!
Enid Clinton, we've got business with your husband. What? John? Hal Jordan, another time shift. I'm up to speed. Carry on. No booby traps. At least none that my ring can detect.
Make up your mind, would you?
뭐냐?
Have you noticed any change in Bart?
New glasses?
No, he looks like something might be disturbing him.
Probably misses his old glasses.
I guess we could get more involved in Bart's activities, but then I'd be afraid of smothering him.
Yeah, and then we'd get the chair.
That's not what I meant.
It was, Marge, admit it.
What's so special about Splinter?
Yo, dude, it's like Splinter's our dad, you know? I mean, what's so special about your dad?
Pepsi for TV game.
Mmm, 64 slices of American cheese. 64. 63. 2. 1.
Have you been up all night eating cheese?
I think I'm blind.
What? Good day to you.
My mother risked her life for me. And now you, too. I should have saved you. I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light!
Escape me! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth! I defeated you once, and I shall do it again!
No, Magneto. I let you in before, in order to learn your plan, to trap you. But now the victory belongs to the Fantastic Four.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power? No mere weapon can stop me. With but a gesture, I can destroy it, or turn it against you. Behold! I'll make it leap from your hand, and make you its target. Now!
Not this time, Magneto. This time I'm fighting for real.
It's impossible! It cannot be! Nothing can defy my magnetic power!
The Fantastic Four can. You're finished, Magneto. Surrender. You have no other choice.
Why? Why will the gun not obey me? My power is gone. I'm bliss! Magnetism! It was my greatest weapon!
Okay, Richards. We'll take care of him now.
First tell me, how did you do it? How did you take away my power?
I didn't, Magneto. I merely tricked you.
You lie! I couldn't control your gun. You made me lose my magnetism.
You're wrong. I just guessed that you'd overlook one simple thing. Your magnetic power only works on metal, like all magnets. But my gun isn't real. I made it out of wood, specially to fool you.
Wood? A wooden gun?
That's why your power didn't work. And it's why you're a prisoner of the police now. Take him away, man.
A wooden gun. He tricked me with a wooden gun.
We can't bust heads like we used to, but we have our ways.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you got it.
One trick is to tell them stories that don't go anywhere. Like the time I caught the ferry over to Shelbyville. I needed a new heel for my shoe. So, I decided to go to Morganville, which is what they called Shelbyville in those days. So I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time. Now, to take the ferry cost a nickel, and in those days, nickels had pictures of bumblebees on them. Give me 5 B's for a quarter, you'd say. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah. The important thing was that I had an onion on my belt, which was the style at the time. They didn't have white onions because of the war. The only thing you could get was those big yellow ones.